Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Contact here on the Tarda Zone. And I forgot to turn on the mic as I always do. That was a bit, yeah. There you go. Welcome. It's been a long time since we done Friday nights, and I've just said it on YouTube on Twitter. This will be a regular now every Friday. We're gonna go back to doing Friday nights because Friday nights was very popular with everybody. So yeah, um, that's what we're going to do. And we've got a great start for you because we got a very good guest coming on. He's all known. He's been off YouTube for a while, but makes guest appearances on other people's channels. And of course, he's been a regular on this channel over the last 5 years and a very good friend as well. Someone that's given me a lot of advice behind the scenes as well. And you know, he's a good man. He's a good man. But let's bring him on. Enough blonde smoke up his ass because he'll hate that. Anyway, let's bring him on. It's the one and only Cultivated Media Incorporated. And it's a mouthful.
Hello.
Formerly Ballstrick. He has it actually in the title now because everybody is like kind of wondering who's fucking incorporate Cultivated Media Incorporated. I
Yeah, I had to add that.
Ballstrick. I said it's Ballstrick, but it's his new name now.
Formerly Bullstruck.
So I'll put
Bullstruck,
formally now. Yeah.
he's dead. He died.
Yeah.
But no, every time I stream, somebody asks, is that guy that used to yell? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah.
So, yes, it is me.
Yeah.
I'm now a
He's a
stick
chilled
figure.
out one now. He chills out now. He's a chill out. He's the chill out. That's why, name change because he's Mr. Chill now. But how have you been? Because it's been a while.
Well, I got my first natural gas bill of the day of the year yesterday since prices have more than doubled, and it was the highest gas bill I've ever had
Mm-hmm.
during a month that wasn't that cold. So that got me a little bit grumpy.
Yeah.
What else have I been doing? Well, I've been laughing at Jennifer Lawrence getting completely destroyed by both sides. So that is one of the funniest things I've
Yeah, I
seen
want
in
to
a very
ask
long
you
time.
about that. Why do you think, right? Because she seems to be a very, very intelligent woman, or so I thought.
She's a
But
narcissist.
why would you make such a ridiculous comment like that when everybody already knows that she isn't the first female action hero or whatever she called herself? They don't put females in lead roles in action. Yes, they do. Well, what planet have you been living on? But why do you think she'd make such a ridiculous comment like that? Because we see it a lot with celebs, don't we? They always seem to put their foot in it and make such ridiculous comments that can actually be proven to be false. Like I just don't get it. What was the point in that? Was it just her doing what all celebs do now, virtual signal, or did she
Oh
genuinely
no.
believe that?
Well, first I'll say, she's done some good movies. It wasn't really
Yeah,
aimed at
she
me, but
has.
I like the Hunger Games. I think Silver Linings Playbook is an absolute masterpiece. I even like Mother, even though what's going on there is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But she is a complete narcissist. She is worse than all of them.
Yeah,
Um,
well, we've heard stories about her behind, like,
oh,
within
her
some
her fame
movies.
has gone
Yeah,
completely to her head.
yeah,
Well, she recently, apparently, she disowned several family members because they own or because they support Orange Man. She's just, maybe I can separate some of the works, but she is just, and she's always been like this.
yeah.
She is completely toxic, completely unpleasant. Um, Not somebody that I would like even remotely in real life. I have a relative who I won't name
It's
who
lucky
is
she has our good
exactly
looks.
like this, and yeah, it's just they're just insufferable.
Yeah, but it's lucky that she actually has our good looks because if she didn't, she wouldn't get anywhere because she has a stinking attitude. You're absolutely spot on. I mean, I've seen even in interviews, and we know actors and actresses get tired quite a lot because they're flying around the world, which is fair enough. And, sometimes we've seen
Well,
interviews,
not really because she retired for a few years. She had
yeah.
several flops. There was Mother, which I like. Passengers, which I actually like, but
I like that movie. That movie
yeah,
gets a lot of stick, but I actually like that movie. I just thought the end of it was a bit weak, but other than that, that is actually a good movie. I don't know why that movie gets actually the stick that it gets. It's a decent sci-fi movie. It mightn't be the most intelligent or the most, where you have to use your brain, but it's a decent movie. I thought it was a decent movie. I like that. I don't know why that gets stick. Really, I am actually baffled by that, but there you go.
yeah, it is what it is. But see, this is what's good about being retired from what I used to do on YouTube. I could just sit back and laugh at it now, which is
Yeah.
what I do. And I see this stuff come up on my Twitter feed, and I'm just like, yep. No, once upon a day, actually, the
I wanna
talking goat probably would have made a video on J
want to
Law
ask you
back in the
about the
day.
Warner Brothers stuff because, as you said yourself, you've been sitting back now and just observing all of this stuff and having a chuckle to yourself. But what do you think of all the stuff that's happening at Warner Brothers at the moment? Because there seems to be reports coming out, and James Gunn then put up a tweet to say he actually confused the fandom even more because he said some of it is true, some of it might be true, and some of it is he didn't even say any of it is not true, but he confused the situation. Do you think this gamble with James Gunn, or do you think James Gunn? There's a rumor going around that he mightn't actually be in charge, which wouldn't surprise me nowadays. But what do you think of the stuff that's going on there? And apparently Henry Cavill is out as Superman again. Aquaman apparently is done as well because of
Wait,
the
I
Amber
missed
Heard.
that. Cavill is out again.
Apparently he's out. Is the rumor going around? Aquaman apparently as well is done. Patty Jenkins apparently left. She's not doing Wonder Woman 3. Apparently she in front of the execs she defined the Wonder Woman character to them and walked out of the boardroom. Apparently, she's gone. She's out. Henry's supposed to be out, and Aquaman apparently won't be going any further because of the whole Amber
I just
Heard.
got to do a quick googling here on my phone
You
because yeah,
should.
I
You
don't.
should. But here's the most ironic thing about the whole situation to me, right? Is that okay, if they're doing all of that, fair enough, but why are they still going ahead with Ezra Miller's Flash movie? I don't get it. If you're gonna do that with Amber Heard and you're gonna do all the other stuff that you're gonna do, well then why aren't you I don't care. They bended the Batgirl movie because apparently it wasn't up to standards, right? Fair enough. We all took that. People might complain about it. Some people were happy about it. Same thing here. They've got to bin the Flash movie, in my opinion, because people know what the lead is like. We've seen it. He's also being charged with something as well. So I mean, I'm not going to watch the movie. I won't complain and have a moan at anybody that does watch it. If you want to, in this case, I just cannot separate the artist from
Well,
the
it's
individual. He's a vile man. He's come across as a vile man. We've heard all the stuff. So I'm sorry, I don't think the Flash movie should be going ahead either.
not just
But
vile. The dude's a criminal.
he
But
is
I'm looking at
absolutely.
this right here. See, I didn't even know Henry Cavill had become uncertain again. But then we also know he left The Witcher for for what they'd done to it. I hadn't really watched it, but I'd followed what other people have said about it. But if they want to make Superman woke still, I could see that being an issue. But here's the thing, Noel. Uh, the the trend of comic book movies has been. Some would argue it's been since 2008, the first Iron Man movie, but really it's been going on since the current sort of stream of comic book heroes has really been going on since the first X-Men movie, which was 22 years ago.
Yeah, and that's
It,
the problem. That's the problem. It's gone on too far, too long now, and I think it's jaded. And I don't, and they're not going to stop though. You know that, Chris. They're not going to stop. They're still going to pump out the TV shows. They're still going to start. Oh, but there is a thing actually, because now that you brought that up, that's very interesting. Because apparently they will be slowing down. Marvel, anyway, apparently is going to be slowing down on the releases that they're going to be doing from 2023 onwards. Is another rumor, which I think is a good idea. I'd rather they stop because I think they need to stop now because I
Yep.
think it's gone on for, as you said, 22 years. I think it's stale. I think it needs a bit of a break, and then maybe, because some will argue that, after Endgame it was finished for Marvel, and DC is just all over the place right now. So why not just scrap it all, give it a break for a while, and then come back with fresh ideas and people that actually know what they're doing. Because that's the mistake that they've made the last few years anyway. Not for the whole 22 years, because let's be honest, Marvel did entertain us all, and we're not going to sit here and lie about it. We all have our favourite movies out of that whole
Yeah, but none in the
franchise,
past
but none
at least
exactly.
3 years.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point there.
Well, other than Spider-Man: Far From Home, which is not a Disney movie, it's a Sony movie.
Yeah, and I love that movie. I have to say it was pretty well put together. That movie, I have to be honest.
I'm
Um,
pretty much I'm checked out on Marvel.
yeah,
I watched Thor: Love and Thunder, and it was awful. I've only watched maybe half of the show. There's several franchises, really. I think almost everyone that I used to cover. That like I'm done with Marvel. Um, Certain elements of Star Trek that aren't Strange New Worlds, I'm done with. It's it's you can only struggle through it so much, which it sucks. But here's the good thing: at some point, something new has to come along. And I've been saying it's kind of sad, but I was saying back in 2019 that yeah, this is going to be the end of the woke agenda, and here we are 3 years later, and it's still ongoing. But
yeah.
the funny thing is now Warner was they had no choice. Warner was and still may cease to exist unless
Well,
somebody
they're
picks them
bleeding
up.
money. That's the thing. They're all bleeding money. Netflix, Amazon, they're all bleeding money now. This new age of TV, you're gonna see. You even predicted. I even remember you saying about, wasn't when, what was it? Was it Paramount Plus or something? And that was having problems as well. Didn't that have to merge with something to survive? This is the thing. There's too many of them, right? And then
Well,
they
well, Paramount.
oversaturate the market with similar shows, right? But just on different platforms. It's just, we were promised variety in TV, and don't get me wrong, some of them do actually deliver, but the market is oversaturated. That's what it is. I mean, Netflix has been losing money for how long now? 3 4 years consecutively. They've been
Well,
losing subscribers. So has Disney. Disney
well, the
has as
thing
well.
with
Disney Plus.
Netflix, the stupidity of the platform is almost you kind of have to bang your head against a wall when you're looking at it because
They were the
Netflix every now and
pioneers.
then they'll have something brilliant, like they'll have Squid Games, they'll have Dahmer, which I thought was brilliant. But then today it was either today or yesterday, I get an email where they've got Meghan Markle and former Prince
Oh
Harry, and
no,
that's I'm
yeah,
like
yeah.
nobody wants this. I'm like Meghan Markle can't even get to a
Well,
thousand
they have
views on
to
her
push that.
podcast.
They have to push that because now I think Netflix have realized they've made a mistake betting on these two, because people, journalists and all, have come out and says, "Oh no, the way certain things are framed here, we were invited. This isn't an intrusion." So apparently, for the next 3 episodes that they're going to be dropping, the lawyers are looking into it now, because apparently there's a lot of stuff in it that shouldn't be in it, and they're using photos that they shouldn't be using and all this. So it's become a bit of a shit show for them, you see. Yeah,
Well,
but
the thing is,
Netflix has shot themselves in the foot because they were the pioneers of this streaming service business, right? And you're right, they seem to be pushing more left woke ideology when you go in, because obviously Cheryl has Netflix. When you go in, you're right. The first thing that pops up is that fucking Harry and Meghan thing, and then there's another bloody thing. I watched something on Titanic, right? And I'm not telling you a word of a lie. And not that I have a
did
problem
they
with it.
wokeify Titanic?
No, but the people that they had in the show, right? They were younger than me, and they were so-called experts, and they were just talking about all the foreign people that were on the Titanic. Obviously, fair enough, their stories haven't really been told, right? We always hear about the others, Jacob Astor and, Molly Bleeding Brown and all of the regulars. But from that, it was a good show. But these so-called, couldn't take these experts seriously, man. You could
Well,
tell.
if they're talking about demographics on the Titanic, in the second and third class passengers, it was disproportionately the Irish
Yeah.
that perished in that. I'm like, yeah, there were other people on there, but no, that's where your loss was. Well,
I
I
know
remember.
that's what I mean. They tried to kind of skew history a little bit, and I'm kind of like, is that the new thing now? Are we gonna actually just like erase history, right? And then give this whatever vision of history you want to give. I mean, revised history, isn't it? I mean, they're just like going back everything, like they're just changing, and it's actually ridiculous now at this stage. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, have we got everything? Have the historians got everything accurate that they've wrote down historically? Maybe not, and maybe some of it does need to be revised, as it always is. But the problem is that the revision that is done by people that just have agenda, and they just want to erase our history. And it's sad. It's
Well,
sad. We shouldn't. Go
the
ahead.
thing that Netflix used to have, and they still do, like the one thing that I loved on Netflix was their
What's that?
documentaries, and they still have good ones, but sometimes there's something that's just so out of left field. Like they did I think it was a 3 or 4 part documentary on Woodstock '99,
Yeah,
and
I think
we
I
all
watched
remember,
that.
what. So up until the last episode, I'm watching. I'm like, yeah, this is fascinating. Although I watched it, I literally watched it over pay-per-view in real time with some friends while it was happening. So I'm like, then they're doing this. Then at the very end, so the second half of the last episode, it takes a complete detour into woke land. So I won't. We all know that bad things happened
Yeah,
during that. Well,
that's what
they
I
tried to
mean.
normalize it,
They
and they're
suck
like,
you in with the fourth episode, though. You're right. They do that with a lot of shows on Netflix. The fourth episode is great and it always is. And then the second episode, you're right, just completely goes on a tangent. We were
this
watching
one was
some.
in the this one was in the end, Noel. And what they did, and if you're a Gen Xer or a younger millennial, you actually should be offended by this. They're like, yeah, no, in 1999, the things that were going on, which we won't mention, but we know what they were accepted. Like, no, they weren't. This was not 1899. This is
Yeah.
1999. I lived in 1999. It was not like that. We were just as disgusted. And then there was another one. It was one of their technical documentaries, like, how the internet is shady. I can't remember what it was called, but then their prominent guest, I'm like, Taylor Lorenz. Like, really?
Ah.
Like, honestly, at which point I turned it off.
Listen, I've seen her on Twitter, right? I was seeing her trending, and I thought, oh, this is just people probably just going after her because, like, she has controversial opinions. But when I went in, I had a look at the stuff that she was writing. It's not controversial opinion. It's absolute rubbish.
Yep.
How she can even call herself a journalist, right? And she's
Comes from
going
money,
after.
Noel.
She has a hard on for some YouTuber, doesn't she? Isn't it?
Oh, her and Jeremy from the Quartering have been at each other for years. But no, she not only does she come from money, Noel, she is disgustingly rich. Um,
Yeah.
like she can censor herself from the internet, like literally because of the connection she has. Like it's and this is I'm like, yeah. So you're talking about people that have privilege. No, you actually have privilege, miss.
Yeah, she's something else. She's a piece of work, like that Eve Barlow and pieces of work. Those a lot of these. Look, it's the male journalists as well. I want to make clear, like
Oh
that
yeah,
some of those
there's
male
some of the
journalists
biggest.
out there are
Yep.
just as bad as these bleeding female journalists, and it's the crap that they spew is unbelievable. I mean. Here's another one, right? I just want to say something to all the celebrities out there, right, that are on Twitter, right? Just something from us all, us ordinary folk, right? You don't have to announce that you're leaving Twitter because Elon Musk is a bad man or whatever, right? Whatever excuse you come up with. If you're leaving Twitter, right, have the good grace to leave and just leave quietly. Nobody wants to hear your tantrum about why you're leaving Twitter, right? If you're leaving a social media app because a businessman has taken it over and he wants to implement free speech, right? And you can twist it all the way you want it, right? And say that he's just letting all the hate speech back. He's not, right? He's already proven that he'll remove anybody that hates speeches. He brought Kanye West back onto Twitter. Do you remember when he took over? He's now removed them because of his hate speech against Jews and the stuff he said about the bad people
Well,
from
Kanye's
Germany.
insane, like
He's
nuts.
insane, right? So we got rid of him. So don't be talking about he doesn't get rid of hate speech. He will get rid of hate speech. But if you're going to leave Twitter, just fucking leave. Nobody wants to hear you cry. He's obviously are against free speech because the Twitter files, right? If you've been reading them, right, is an eye opener even for me. I didn't think it was even that bad. But what they have done, the previous regime, right, is against free speech and is actually criminal in my opinion. And there should be further action taken against
Well,
these
what went on
people
with the
for what they
election
did.
was
Yeah. And I'm
criminal.
not even getting into that part because I've no dog in the fight in that one, right?
Well,
But
no,
even
we
with,
neither of us live in the
yeah,
country. We just
so none
observe.
of us live in the country, but even what they did there was wrong. Was wrong. They have no absolute right to do what they did, right? They shouldn't be influencing anything, right? They're a social media platform. It's for like-minded people and other people to meet up, not meet up, to socialize on it and meet other people around the world. That's all it's for. That's
Well,
all it's for.
Elon, and it came out yesterday, because they can actually look into this. Elon actually ran statistical data because they can tell by just words that are used in tweets, um, through very impressive robot learning. But no, he looked into all the tweets that people said that they would be leaving Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's 1.3%
That's
actually
all.
left.
That's it. That's it. So they're hypocrites as well. A lot of these just want attention. Listen, we're sick of you seeking attention, right? If you are going to leave, just leave. If you're not going to leave, then stay, right? And you could bitch and moan as much as you want because we all do it. We all bitch and moan on Twitter at some point in time, right?
I've
We
never
all do.
complained on Twitter. I've always been perfectly. I was never once
Right?
suspended for
But
bullying the BBC.
But there's nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with having a rant on Twitter. But to stop other people from having that same privilege, well, then if you're against that, yes, leave Twitter. You're better off just going, right? And let Elon sort it out. And the fact of the matter is, right, you haven't even given him a chance. You haven't even given him a chance. You have made up your mind because he's so consumed by his hatred. That's it.
He's not even right wing.
He's not even left wing. He's
No,
more
he's
well,
well, I think he's closer to traditional center left, but no,
yeah.
he's is the whole reason behind, because you kind of have to, if you look at it at face value, you have to give him some respect, because other people that have had insane amounts of money, I'm thinking Bill Gates has used his money for not very good things. Elon is using his money, and I do think he's sincere. He's like,
Yeah.
well, no, it's like, because he's looking at this from the center. It's like, uh, well, no, I'm going to return free speech. And sorry, Noel, I need to step away just for one quick second. I'll be
Go
right back.
ahead. Go ahead, sure. I've got a super chat to read out from the legend of the traveling TARDIS, a $5 super chat. He says, Happy holidays, Hoovians. Send love to Noel. Thank you. And the legend of the traveling TARDIS, like and share. I want to give a special shout out to Jack as well. He put up a new video there the other day. If you didn't see it, go and check it out. That's drawing Jack Rabbit in the chat there. He did a video there, and he's got a couple of other videos uh, coming up. And yeah, you'll enjoy it. If you're into figures and stuff like that, he's one of the best channels to go to. And Ian as well, Ian O'Brien. I'm not gonna forget him as well because he does the figures as well, Doctor Who as well. So go and check his channel out. I sent you some Christmas artwork now. Okay, I will have a look at that now, Jack. Let's have a look. Right. Oh, 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 that's cute. Here, I'm gonna throw that up. Hold on. Right here, but just here, this will put a smile on your faces, folks. Bit of artwork from Jack there in the chat, and he's going to be doing a lot of other stuff on his channel as well. He has a poll in his community tab, which I voted in as well, and I left him a message as well. Uh, he's asking people what they'd like to see on his channel. But
Hello.
as I say, hey, go and do whatever. See, this is what Chris said the same thing to me, right, when I first started off. Do whatever makes you feel happy on your channel. You should never try and please people, right? People will come and watch your channel, and I think variety is actually a good thing. That's why we branch out a bit, not as much as we should, but we do. But do whatever makes you feel happy, man. At the end of the day, it's your channel, and people will go and watch. So I want to put Jack's artwork, and we got another super chat as well, and I'll read that out as well. But this is from Jack here. So I'm going to share this picture here. He sent us a bit of Christmas artwork there. So I'll just big screen that.
Aw, that is cute.
There we go. Hold on. We'll get a bigger, and I'll just remove that super chat because we got another one to read out. Just there we go. So that's a lovely, lovely little picture. And of course, we know that's the three wise men and baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph. And yeah, I used to love that story. The story of where they had to knock at each door and then they found a little stable. And yeah, love it. Fantastic that is, isn't it, Chris? It's lovely. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
glad you've
adorable.
I'm glad you've actually wrote your name on it, because I just want to actually send a word of warning out there. So as you know, Adam, or Autumn as he calls himself on Twitter, we've had him on the channel over the last couple of years. He does all the artwork, as you know. Well, his artwork is after being stolen and is being sold on eBay. So my advice to anybody out there that's doing any artwork from now on, make sure you put your name on it. Or if you're going to put it up on Twitter for people to see, put a watermark on it. Okay? Because Adam is at the finding out that this person has been selling his artwork for months. For months. They stole his artwork. They uploaded it on eBay and they're selling posters of it.
Well, that's a
So
lawsuit waiting to happen.
So yeah, he's trying to figure out. He's trying to figure out how what action to take. He's found out the person's name and address apparently, but I reckon if it's someone that's into that stuff, and it looks like, because I did a little bit of checking as well, and I sent them a link. It looks like that this person has set up other accounts before, other businesses, similar kind of names as well. So he's obviously had businesses taken down before. So he has been taken down before. But I don't think I wouldn't say that's the real address. That could be a P.O. box or something. But as you can imagine, Adam is not too happy about it. I mean, that's his
No.
artwork. Some scumbags robbing his artwork. I just wanted to make that clear. But that's brilliant, Jack. Well done, mate. I mean, the horror one is brilliant. I love the horror one as well that you did for
I
us.
love the bunny theme pictures. They are
So do I.
keep doing what you do, Jack. It's awesome.
It is. It is. And we got another super chat there from the legend of the traveling TARDIS, a $5 one. He says, "It's not a good day on YouTube unless I hear you lose your shit. Miss you, Ballstreck." Everybody, look, I'm going to say it. right? I'll say it, but I can understand Chris's reasons for not doing it, right? But I will say, like you've just said there, you are missed, and I can understand why you don't need to stress, right? And that's fair
Well,
enough.
I can.
But just let you know, you are missed. People do miss your channel. People do miss listening to you, and it is a shame. But you've told me your reasons, and I'm fully behind you. I've said
Well,
I
I
I,
can.
I
I can go on. Just to a certain extent. There are some elements that I miss of it. I miss some of the people that I. Well,
well, we
actually,
miss you,
well, I
man.
still associate with the
Well, we miss
people
you.
that were cool through my new identity. But I ran that YouTube channel for 15 years, from September 2007. My last video was posted March. I finally quit um, in May. And as much fun as it was, and it was fun, during the last 2 years and definitely the last year I was doing it, it was making me absolutely miserable. I was watching shows that I couldn't stand. I was tired of covering the same articles over and over again. I was
Can I
tired of just
suggest
the
something?
freaks on
Yeah,
YouTube.
but can I suggest something? You don't have to go back and do all of that stuff again. You
Well,
have a,
well,
you always,
there's a
you
plan
have
though.
the horror, you have the horror passion. You've
Oh,
always been
that's where I was going with it. It's so the plan has been, although it keeps getting pushed off, mainly because my day job is to put it in. I won't tell you what I do, but my average work week right now is about 60 hours. So what the channel is not dead. It's just in hibernation right now, and two things have to happen. One, I have to have the time to do it, which right now I don't. And second is I have to have the motivation to do it, which right now I kind of have. But what the channel is going to be, it's when I do finally, and for all I know, it could be another year before I actually have time to do it. But eventually, the channel is going to be rebranded under the Cultivated Media branding, and I'm going to talk about things that I like, mainly horror movies. Some things to do with media, some stupid things that
That's
come out.
it. Do watch alongs. Find out how you could do watch alongs where you could put the movie on screen and stuff like that. Because
Well,
you're a big YouTuber.
the angry goat is coming back because he wants to review terrible movies. So I know I've been saying it for a year, but literally, it's just right now. It's just I literally don't have the time.
Right. Well, just
If
let
I were
know
to,
that people do miss you, though, man, and you are missed, man. It hasn't been the same on YouTube. Without
well,
it feels, it's
you could
not the
still,
same, man.
I still, you could still catch me on live stream. I don't really yell anymore. Well, no, actually, I'm angry at Scream Factory, so I went on a 20-minute screaming rant on Facebook's channel about 2 weeks ago about that. Um, but no, it's I know I've been on since like I was gone for about 4 or 5 months. I was gone completely. I didn't think I was going to come back. But one of the things that like near the end, I hated making videos. I absolutely hated it. It wasn't because it takes a lot of time to put through those videos, and if you're not enjoying it, it sucks. And it was just I was tired of being screwed over by YouTube. I was tired of being demonetized and just the endless list of issues that I had. But the one thing that I like doing, because I've been on hundreds, literally hundreds of live streams, less than a dozen were actually on my channel. But I was gone for 4 or 5 months, and I just wanted to remove myself completely. But then it was, I think, around September, maybe I started to come back, and I've been on here a few times. I was on Drinkers Happy Hour about 3 weeks ago with about 10,000 people watching.
Yeah,
So
you
I'm
were
still
watching
around.
what you were watching because I popped in. You were watching what was the movie you were watching? You were watching a movie, weren't you?
No, no, that was just his regular happy hour stream. I think we were just chatting about.
Were you not on with a movie with him as well, though? Because I remember watching a stream where I think he was either talking about a movie or watching a
Well,
movie. Pretty
I think
sure you were on
that
one.
was about a year ago, but we did a. I think it ended up being a 3 hour stream dissecting Star Trek 3. It could have been that one.
Yeah, could have been. I don't know if it was that long now, but
But yeah,
you're
no,
probably right.
the goat will be back. Everyone, he's going to review terrible movies, but he's on a break. But as soon as I have the time, which it was supposed to be this Christmas, it was supposed to be in December. I ended up not having the time that I thought I was going to have to do it, so it ended up getting pushed back again. But yeah, well, the and the videos they're going to be. I'm going to do longer form, and I refuse to use the word video essay because that's one of the most pretentious things I've ever heard. As soon as you say video essay, I just block you. They're going to be long form analytical videos, average 20 to 30 minutes. And with the way I make my videos, which will be similar because of the way I script them, the way I edit them. It's usually about an hour per every minute of video. So if you add that up, 20 to 30-minute videos, I'm looking at 20 to 30 hours to put those together. So yeah, it'll come. But for right now, I'm happy. It's just talking about stuff on streams. It's less stressful. Noel, what I've actually done, and for my own mental sanity, one of the best things about this, when I stopped watching things that I hate and distanced myself from several franchises that I want nothing to do with, I've actually, in my spare time, I watch things that I actually like. I've rediscovered Star Trek Deep Space Nine, but what I've been marathoning since Black Friday, one of my favorite shows from the 90s and early 2000s was Frasier, Cheers spinoff, which I've been told not a lot of people in the UK for some reason know about it, which is odd because it ran for 11 seasons. But no, on Black Friday, I picked up that set. It ran from 1993 to 2004. So it's like in the era that predates everything that happened now, like 4 to 6 episodes a night, because I've gotten re-obsessed, and I've gone back to watching things I like. I
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
the same.
YouTube. I sometimes will have it playing in the background, but it's like when the computer's off, when it's the end of the day, I'm going to watch something I like. So I'll watch classic TV series. I'll watch horror movies. It's awesome. And
I've been watching Classic Quantum Leap.
you're
Again.
going to shoot me, Noel. I picked up the four or the Blu-ray remaster set 4 years ago. I still have to watch it. And I'm actually
Oh,
looking at it right now because I have it displayed on the top of
yeah.
my the
I'm loving
shelf
it.
next to
I
me.
remember as a kid, but obviously as you're a kid, you don't pick up on things. I'm watching it again and I'm loving it. I can't believe how I always remembered it was great, but I didn't realize how great it was. Some of the stories are really, really heartbreaking, like as well. But I'm
Well, they
loving
had
it.
they had episodes that were banned. In I think it was 92. It was the episode. I think it was that would have been season 4. Um, which shows you how times have changed. But it's an episode where Sam Beckett leaps into the body of a gay man. Half the NBC affiliates refused to air it, and it was taken out of syndication and repeats completely. And I don't think it was shown on TV for I think something like 8 years. Like
Wow.
it was very rare that you would have a miss episode on Quantum Leap, and some of them are downright scary. Like they've got some episodes of borderline on horror.
Yeah.
I remember there's the one episode, and it was a contrast because I think it was right after the episode where Sam leaps into a monkey. And so one of the more ridiculous ones. And then the next week, it's the one where he leaps into the body of a psychiatrist, and it's one of the episodes where it's absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
It's some of the stuff like they had the evil leaper or whatever it was called near the end. That I'm like, yeah, I could see you're trying to mix it up, but that didn't really work. And oh, Jack, I'll answer Jack's question. He asked, "What's good Halloween to get into?" Um, Jack, if you've never really gotten into horror movies, uh, I would recommend one of the what got me into horror was actually when I was a kid, A Nightmare on Elm Street. If you don't
Yeah.
mind watching 80s stuff, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, The Exorcist. Although that's still terrifying even by today's
Yeah,
standards.
that's a great. That movie gets stick nowadays because people laugh at it, but they've got to remember back in 1975, I think it was
4.
four.
Was
Right?
it
Yeah.
4 or was it 3?
Was
3 or 4? Why am I drawing a blank?
anyway. You, do you want to check that? You go and check that. Go on, because that's
I
wrecking me head. Is it 73 or 74?
let's see. The
I thought it was 75.
Nope. It was 1973.
Wow.
Specifically, this was a happy Christmas, released December 26th, 1973. So
Wow.
literally, people had their Christmas, and then Noel, with this movie, they actually, some theaters would hand out vomit bags
Yeah.
because nothing like this is even before Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
People were passing out. They had to issue warnings.
Yeah.
So back in old 1973, the gritty decade it was. So you would have had your Christmas dinner and everything on the 25th, and then you would have been throwing it up on the 26th.
Here, isn't this true? I think it's true that originally it had the crucifix scene in it, but people found that so disturbing that they took the movie, they edited out basically
Oh, it had
that
it had
scene.
several edits.
The spider
No,
walk
this is
scene as well is another one that was moved out. The one where she comes down, but there's a longer version of that. Obviously, if you get the anniversary specials now, you can actually see the
no, the
completed.
the entire movie is, as far as I know, is complete. I think at least since the DVD release in the late
Yeah,
'90s. But no, there were multiple cuts of this movie with scenes cut
there
out
was.
because um well, stuff that I can't quote on YouTube without you getting in trouble, but various sexual references, there
Mm-hmm.
were cuts then removed. I think some theaters would even, because we're dealing with this 35 mil film, it was actually very easy for a theater chain itself to splice out a scene and put the tape back together. It was notorious with that. So no, there
Yeah.
there were cuts all over the place. Although, given the times, I could see that. But then it was around this time that you also had Last House on the Left, which I would argue is much more graphic than this. You had Texas Chainsaw Massacre '74. I would argue that is more graphic than this. Actually, when you look at it, there were some really twisted films that
There
came out
was,
in
there
the
were a lot,
'70s.
they were twisted. I've been looking back at these horror movies, and a lot of them are twisted. There was a lot of twisted stuff going on in the 70s, man. And in the 80s it was more gore and stuff like that. You can see the evolution of horror from say the 50s, the 60s, to the 70s, to the
Well, we
80s. You
never
can
got
actually
to that
see the
level of shock
transition.
again. Well, actually, no, we do have that level of shock, but they're primarily foreign films from France, actually. When I think Martyrs specifically, um, there's a film series that they put out recently. What the hell was it called? I'm just looking. I see it here. It was. I'll come up. I'll remember the name of it. But it's three movies. They're quite disgusting. Um, the probably one of the most offensive semi-mainstream films out there is called a Serbian film. I cannot actually recite anything that goes on in that film, and it was literally filmmakers in Serbia saying, "How can we make the most offensive and disgusting thing we can come up with?" And I have seen it. You cannot unsee this movie after you've seen it.
Is
Uh,
I've
yeah.
seen a movie similar. I don't know if it's the same one. I don't know if it's from Serbia or Italy, but it's basically set in this big house and there's slaves. Let's just say,
Are you thinking of
um,
Sallow?
I don't know if that's the name of the movie. I mean, that's
Okay,
pretty
so it will
graphic.
know
That movie.
it is Italy. It takes place in a big house. It's from the '70s.
Mm-hmm.
It is basically a take on fascism and consumerism.
Yes, yes, that's the movie, and
Is
it's
this the one where people are eating poop?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, warning folks, don't watch this film
No,
and think of eating anything.
don't, because I did it.
Well, yeah, funny story about that, Noel. The apparently the director of that film was actually assassinated right
Mm-hmm.
after it was finished and before it was released. And apparently he was being blackmailed because there's even more disgusting stuff that didn't appear in that movie. And considering what is actually in that movie,
Exactly. You can imagine what else was in that movie, but I don't want to think about because that that
well,
that
it's
is just
it's part of the Criterion collection. It was one of their first Blu-rays. I actually own the collector's edition, which I've watched only once. Although I did find the extras quite interesting. Um, it's the Human Centipede are from Classic
uh,
80s Fanboy. Part one is your basic what they call torture porn Saw movie. Part three stars Eric Roberts. It's basically a comedy. But part two, another thing that I cannot describe anything that occurs in that movie on Noel's stream without him getting
Yeah,
flagged. But yeah, that one's pretty twisted as well. There's a lot of messed up movies up there. What's
there
it called?
is. I don't know how they
Irreversible.
even passed the censorship back then because they were really strict back then. But then you see some of the movies that bled through.
A
But
lot
some
of them
countries
didn't.
like Italy and Serbia, though, their censorship laws would have been completely different to the US and stuff like that. So,
Oh, trust me, dude. Nobody was showing Sallow. I don't even think they even bothered putting that on the UK's video nasties list because it was just taken as a given that ain't being shown here.
yeah.
Although when you look at the video nasties list, I'm like, all my favorite films are on that list. I'm like, I guess that tells you what kind of person I am. I'm a twisted soul, Noel. Yeah.
Someone said, watch the Leprechaun. That's peak horror. I mean, the first Leprechaun movie, look, I'm not offended by stuff like that, like some
Oh
people
no,
were,
no,
right?
Leprechaun is just bad, offensive
But
because it's bad.
it's bad horror. I mean, I saw Leprechaun in space, and that was enough for me, man.
That was Jennifer Aniston's first movie before
Yeah,
anybody knew who she was.
yeah, Leprechaun was, yeah. She was actually nice in that movie too. There's some more horror art by Jack. I drew it for Bruce Campbell, apparently.
Evil Dead. Actually, that's see, I've recommended Evil Dead to people, but I don't know if I love those movies, but they're not the best for a great horror. The first one, it's independent, a little bit gory. The second one is horror comedy. Pretty much same thing with Army of Darkness.
I love Dawn of the Dead.
Oh well, Dawn of the Dead is a classic, and I love
Mm,
the remake too. Also written
yeah.
by James Gunn, not directed by him.
Yeah,
Direct.
the new one is actually the updated version is actually pretty good. Again, though, it's one of those movies that people either love or hate. I actually love that movie. I
Well, it
like
was directed by
both.
Zack Snyder.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, no, it's one of those rare instances where the sequel doesn't surpass the original, but is almost the equal of
Yeah,
the original because I watch both those films at least once a year.
yeah. I
Um,
love I love the updated version. I love the original. I
but I'm not
mean,
giving Scream Factory $50 plus tax for their 4K version.
mm,
If you want to hear about my current druthers with Scream Factory, Noel, I've got a whole series going on another live stream. I'm mad at my Scream Factory friends right now. And for those of you that have heard the rants on Facebook's channel, yes. So the package. Oh yeah, Noel. So here's where I'm cranky. So Scream Factory. It's right now they're on my crap list. But up until a few months ago, they were my favorite boutique horror company. Well, parent company is Shout Factory, but Scream Factory is their biggest imprint. Druther number one. So every year they do this thing called the Shocktober sale, where they have all their horror stuff at a decent discount. Arrow Video did it at the same time. I ordered all my stuff from Arrow Video after Scream Factory, and I got it no problem. So Noel, with Scream Factory, I put through 3 orders. Okay, so this was at the end of September. I
yeah.
didn't get any of them until November, but when I got my first order, so it got lost somewhere in Chicago and then found its way here. The box was destroyed. It had footprints on it,
Oh, for
and
God's sake.
their importers screwed up the import fees, and I ended up having to pay an additional $50 just to get this destroyed box from the post office. So by the end of it, I would have actually been better off after exchange rate just buying that stuff from just off Amazon. So then the third order bounced around various places in Kentucky for some reason for like 2 weeks. Then I
Uh,
finally get it. This one I didn't have to pay extra on. But this one came like there was only 2 Blu-rays in the third order, but the thing was like a pancake. The cases had been crushed and destroyed. So the Blu-rays were okay. So I just replaced the cases. But then there's the middle order, which I've been trying to track down since the first. It was shipped November 1st. It hasn't been heard from since November 10th. There's like $100 worth of stuff in this order. Today, I just filed the claim to find out what happened to my order. But yes, this is why I'm mad at Scream Factory. Well,
I know,
most
because you like, as you said just there, though, you instead of going to Amazon, which you could have very easily done, you're the kind of person that likes to support these smaller companies.
Oh no, no!
So,
I'll support Arrow Video. I will support Vinegar Syndrome. I'll support Kino Lorber. Well, also Scream Factory. They used to be known for they'd release a lot of obscure stuff. Um, they do really nice collector's editions of some of the
mm,
fancier stuff. But here's why they've gone from being the gold standard in boutique horror labels to being the crap standard, bottom of the barrel. So all these little smaller releases, the obscure stuff, they basically stopped doing that. And when they do make it, it's a limited edition website exclusive that I have to order from the States at a ridiculous cost. So I'm looking at like 50 to $60 by the time everything is done just to import them into Canada. And that's if they don't destroy them on the way here. Um, 3 movies I've missed out on because it was limited. Uh, but when it comes to the stuff that's actually available in Canada, out of their recent collector's editions, um, out of the 4 most recent, only one was actually available in Canada, which was Child's Play, which was actually just a re-release anyway. The rest of them had to be ordered from the States, not cheap. And I didn't even bother with the second Halloween set because I'm not paying $60 a piece for those 3 films. And then when it comes to what they're releasing altogether, their entire catalog now consists of ridiculously expensive 4K re-releases of things that I already paid a small fortune for on Blu-ray, and in place of what used to be their really cool obscure cult stuff. The last 2 that they announced was one was Freaky, which is an okay horror movie, but it's a year old and there's not a lot of demand for that. And the second one was Ouija from 2014, which is awful and off makes most top 10 worst mainstream horror movies lists of the 2010s. So I tried to get my hashtag Scream Factory stop sucking. Yeah, so that's my oh, Eden Lake. Noel, have you ever been camping or on a picnic?
yes, I love camping and picnicking, and I'll give you a laugh.
You watch Eden Lake, you'll never do it again.
No, but I know what you're gonna say. Shit went down. Listen, I'll give you a laugh. I was 12 years old, and me and a group of lads went camping with a couple of adults, obviously. And we went into the Dublin Wicklow Mountains. Now, for anybody that doesn't live in Ireland, the Dublin Wicklow Mountains is where the Irish Army train. So we set up camp when we got there. Everything was grand. We did a little bit of fishing. We built a campfire, all the things that you do, put up the tents, all of that. We had our dinner. We told a few ghost stories as you do, right? And then we all turned in for the night. Now you can imagine as a 12-year-old, I'm loving the experience camping. And at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it must have been, all I hear is bullet sounds.
Sounds like my neighborhood.
Right, I swear to good God, right? Now, you can see in Ireland, you have to think about it. No cops with guns unless they're special branch and all of that, right? So we're not used to guns, right? So, as a 12-year, all I can hear is explosions and fucking bullets. Now, it's about 5 or 6 miles away, but you can imagine in the dead of the night, right, in the arsehole of nowhere beside a fucking lake, right? Campfire there. And then we could hear fucking something out in the distance, like trees fucking falling and shit. It was like your typical fucking, like what you'd watch a fucking, as you
We
said, one
have
of these.
bears here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we don't have bears now, in fairness,
Oh, we
but
do.
we
I've
were
given
shitting
some
a
of them a
bit. But I
name.
can imagine what this movie is like. Look at none of that shit. Look, this is the way I look at it,
You
right?
won't like teenagers, Noel.
If you're in a real life situation like that, right, at the end of the day, you're fucked, right? So you either fight your way out of it, go down like a champ, or you just fucking let them do what they want to do. It's as simple as that, right? but I go down fighting like a champ because that's just who I am. But look, Campbell, see, horror movies just don't do it for me anymore. I mean, they're talking about that. I keep bringing it up, but they talk about that. What's it? The Black Phone, right? It's supposed to be one of the best horrors in decades or something. No, it's not. I mean, it's an interesting story. I mean, there's a lot of plot holes in it, but okay, yeah, it's pretty. Has
It's
a
got a
couple of.
nice atmosphere.
It's
I
got
like
it's got a nice yeah. I'll admit, atmosphere wise, perfect. I have to say, Ethan Hawke doing horrors, I think, is his genre. I think he's brilliant at doing horrors. He did Sinister, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. But they said the same about Nope. Right? I watched that movie. It's an interesting movie. It's decent, but it's boring in places, and it's a bit too long. But again, billed as this best horror sci-fi movie in decades. No, it's not. No, it's not. There hasn't been a horror that I've watched over the last few years. I say in about since Sinister, right? That's how long ago it was. When did Sinister come out? That was the last horror movie that I actually enjoyed. Actually enjoyed The Orphan as well.
came out I think 9 years ago.
Yeah,
Maybe it was.
so I like The Orphan as
Oh
well.
no! Oh no! The Orphan that came out in 2009. The prequel came out, which actually isn't bad.
It is.
Came
I
out this
watched
year.
it. I watched the prequel. The prequel was actually decent. I thought it was going to be shite, to be quite honest with you, but it was actually good. It's not as good as the first one. Don't care what anybody says, but it's close. But I'd like to see another couple of movies. She's a psychopath anyway, man.
Oh,
Psychopath.
she's nutty, and I don't know, Noel. Can you hear my puppy throwing her bowl around?
No, she wants to be fed.
Uh, the noises she's making indicate she has to do a plopper again.
Okay, well then, do you want to? Do you need to go,
Oh
or
no,
do you want to
I
wrap
will
up?
come back. Although Noel, this is the curse because you remember with uh my old puppy, every
Yeah,
time I'd stream with you, I'd have to leave.
I know.
It's, yeah, well,
Every
not
time.
leave, but well, yeah. That actually hasn't happened. This is, I think, the first time since I come back. But I think she's gonna poop herself.
Right, well, go on. You do that, and I'll keep everybody. I'll see what
When
comes.
I come back to keep you all waiting because it might be a couple minutes, I am going to tell you why you will never see 4K or sorry 8K Blu-ray, and there are reasons for it. And I know you're excited, and I know you want to know why. So don't leave. And we come back. I'm going to hijack Noel, and I'm going to tell you why there will be no 8K Blu-ray and why the concept of 8K in a home theater environment is completely idiotic. So you all
Fantastic.
excited? Okay. So Noel's gonna sing you a song, and I'll be right back.
Not a bother. Not a bother. Actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about Doctor Who while we have a chance, because obviously we're talking about all sorts on here tonight. So obviously, you have all seen the photographs, the leaked photographs of the new TARDIS interior. So while you are all here, and we got a couple of minutes, because he doesn't talk about Doctor Who anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all yous in the chat now to tell me what you think of the leaked photographs and me little YouTube short that I done last time I checked. I think the thing had 1,600 views, so lots of people are watching the photographs on YouTube Shorts. But yeah, what do you think of the new TARDIS console? While we have a little bit of a gap there before Chris comes back, let me know what you thought. I'll give you my thoughts. I think it looks absolutely fabulous. I told you it was going to be huge. They've got the roundels back. I love the way the center of the TARDIS console goes up, but the roof comes down on top of it, and you've got the roundels all around. Now, some people have said it looks too bright and stuff like that. We don't know how the lighting is going to be in it just because it's white. But again, this is another clever thing by RTD, because he knows for years people have been calling for the roundels to come back. And if you look at the TARDIS, the way the new TARDIS is going to be, yes, some people have made the comparison. He's incorporated David's and Matt's TARDIS and all of that. But I'd also say William Hartnell's TARDIS also is incorporated. It looks to me like RTD. Yes, I think it's lovely, and I think he's very smart in what he's done with that. Cinnamon Toast Crunch says they are happy with it. Lee says looks a bit unsafe if there's turbulence. Yeah, I tell you, it looks magnificent. And here's the thing: we haven't seen what the lighting's going to be like. This thing is going to pop. This thing is going to pop, and we're going to see. And this is the thing, interesting thing. I told you this on this channel, right? We had Garminator on talking about, if you remember, as well. We had him on a couple of streams because he wanted to set the record straight because there was a load of rumors flying around. He told you were going to see different levels to the TARDIS. It looks like that's exactly what we're going to get as well. This thing is going to be huge. We're going to see parts of the TARDIS that we've never seen before. I can't wait to see it. Well, it has no railings now, but it might have some railings. We don't know yet. We don't know yet because remember, those photographs looks like it's in the middle of construction right now. So we'll have to wait and see. I will say it's a bit bad that it is leaked, but I will say this is coming up to Christmas. Dan said it as well. We don't like sometimes we don't like our Christmas presents spoiled, but in this case, I'm kind of glad because it gives us something now to, think about over the Christmas. We've seen some of the TARDIS console. Now we haven't seen it obviously completed, but it looks absolutely brilliant. It looks absolutely brilliant. And if they get that right, that's another piece of the jigsaw that fits. And we'll see. But it looks like hundreds of concept designs on DeviantArt for the past few years. Yeah, that's a fair point. A fair point, man. But I just can't wait, man, to see it now. Oh man. Exciting times ahead. Exciting times ahead, I have to say. It looks similar to the concept design from 2004, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, it's going to be, as I said, it's going to be very interesting to see when we actually see it fully. But yeah, um, interesting. It'll be interesting to see if we get anything else before the end of the year. To be honest, the pictures show it not completely built, painted. So in my eyes, it's not ruined for me. Exactly. It's not fully completed, you know. And again, we'll have to see what the lighting is. I hope look. Some people have said some of the TARDIS console rooms are being too dark, and stuff like that. But I don't want it to be overly bright either. So lighting is going to play a huge part in this, to be quite honest with you. But I'm glad they're actually building a proper console room from scratch. Well, obviously we're going to do one from scratch, but I mean, the space they obviously have, it's going to be huge, and I think that will only serve it better, to be quite honest with you, and it'll give the actors more room to do their work. So yeah, obviously, it's been since then. It's been a bit quiet. The second issue of Doctor Who magazine is out. Um, Still haven't received me first copy because, yeah, there would have to be a postal strike, wouldn't there, in the UK? So I'm probably not going to get this till after Christmas. I'll be even lucky if I get it in January, the way things are going. So, you know, um, yeah, and the second issue was already out. Like it's ridiculous. But there you go. What can you do? You can't do anything about a postal strike. I mean, workers have every right to go on strike. Yeah, I was pretty sure after the photographs were leaked that RTD and Co would probably have them taken down because Chris tried that dirty trick when when Jodie Whittaker's console room. Because remember, the designer was giving out, "Oh, you are seeing it with no lighting," because everybody was saying it looked awful. Um, but yeah, he didn't. That's the thing. I don't look. I would he be gone mad? Absolutely, he probably is gone mad. But at the same time, he'd know that that could play in his favor as well. It's hyped up the fandom even more now. So I'm still waiting on that issue. I can't. Well, I'll just have to wait. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. Um, there's a postal strike on in the UK. I was watching the news today. It's nothing I can do about it. So until whatever is resolved, because both sides apparently won't give in. So there's a bit of a stalemate going on. So this could go on for weeks. And remember, we've had, you know what this reminds me of actually, the stuff that I'm seeing in the UK, it's happening in Ireland as well. It reminds me of the 80s when all the trade unions and all the unions, workers' unions were out there on strike for better pay, better conditions. Because, the politicians screwed up and we have to pay every time they screw up. So people get sick and tired of it and they go out on strike. I'm not even giving out that people are on strike. I can understand it, you know, but it is an inconvenience. By the time I get that issue, we could be into the fourth or fifth issue of RTD's reign. Like, the dark cloudy background behind Shooty
Hello.
in that teaser trailer. How you was made purely for the trailer. Yeah. Well, Baldstrack is going to educate us now anyway, because as I said, he doesn't talk about Doctor Who. So we had our little chat about Doctor Who.
Although
So
I do want to clarify something, Noel, because it has come up a few times where some people seem to think that I have something against people that are excited. Just to clarify, no, I'm not. Um, I've said it a lot on Twitter, but I have no issue with I think everybody has a right to be excited about it. I know you're excited about it for the right reasons, not like the people that were excited about the previous regime.
mm-hmm.
Just this the stance. It's not for me anymore. But it is what it is. But I hope it's good for the people that are watching it. So I genuinely believe that. But and people ask, are you going to be covering it? No, I won't. Neither positively or negatively. There's other things. But and this, Noel. I hope for you guys it works out. I know you've been streaming with Noel Clark lately as well, which is actually really cool. Congrats, man.
Yeah, he's on. He's on again on Sunday.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. But anyways, yeah, that's my statement. So and I've had some people try and drag me into drama, and I've firmly told them, no, you're not dragging me into drama. I have nothing against anyone who is excited for the right reasons. So, yeah, please
I know
stop
you've
doing
always
it.
said that to me because I am excited, and
Oh yeah,
I even
and you
got
have
more
every right to be.
excited. And I even got more excited yesterday because I don't know if you have actually seen the photographs, but the TARDIS console room for obviously the new Doctor has been leaked. Now it's not complete, but they have photographs and concept photo of what it's going to look like. And I have to say, I think even you would be pretty impressed
Well, it's
by
not
it.
out of the it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that I won't. Well, like right now, I have no interest in watching it, but it's going to be a while before it comes back. Maybe just out of curiosity, I'll check it out. But
You definitely, I know for a fact, right? You probably won't say anything about it, but I know for a fact the 60th is coming up, and you will give that a look because it is a 60th. Now, whether you'll come out publicly and
oh no,
give your
if I
opinion on it
watch
or
it,
not, but you probably will watch it because
oh, no,
it's the 60th
if I
anniversary.
watch it, I'll say I watch it. I'm not hiding anything.
No, no, you never do. But I'm just saying, it's the 60th anniversary. You might. Look, I understand where you're coming from, right? You've given your point of view on that, and you've given your reasons, and I understand that.
Well,
I
it's probably about from with the old battle on our side. It's probably about 50-50, and it's half the people are excited for it, half of them aren't. But you don't see any fighting, other than the few people that keep trying to drag people and me into drama. But for the most part, everybody's like, it's cool. It's like it may not be for some of us anymore, but
Yeah,
but
Lee. I have to just say something real quick. So Lee has to head off.
oh,
So so
and welcome back to hell, Lee, i.e. Twitter. Yeah, well, you have to get Lee on with me at some point. I haven't streamed with him in months.
yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be doing a kind of end of the year stream anyway, because we always do one where I bring on people for as long as they can pop on for. So remember, we did it last year. So if you're willing to come on, I'll be bringing everybody on that's been on over the year. Just say hello, happy New Year, and all of that other crap. Because we're gonna have a New Year's Eve stream, plenty of alcohol for me anyway.
I
Um,
have I have ginger beer,
and you have your ginger beer and people in the
Jamaican
chat room.
ginger beer.
That's it. Oh, nice. I like the Jamaican ginger
Oh,
beers.
you've
Nice.
never had President's Choice Jamaican ginger beer, and all this stuff sets
Well,
your mouth on fire.
wow.
Well,
Uh, some YouTubers, yeah, I won't mention their names, but yeah, look, at the end of the day, this is the thing, right? I have huge respect for the people that you mentioned there. At the end of the day, that's their stance, and I mightn't necessarily agree with them not giving it a chance, but I can understand their reasons behind not giving it a chance. Because let's be honest, I don't want people thinking that I've forgotten the last 5 years of how they shit all over us. I haven't. I haven't. I'll never forgive Chibnall for what he done, right? But the only I've told you this from day one. If RTD was coming back, I'd give him a chance. I'm sticking to that. I'm
yeah,
going to give him a
and
chance.
you
If it
should.
doesn't end up being me cup of tea, as I said, I will walk away. I'll do what Chris has done. I would rather walk away than bitch about it for the next 2 or 3 years. I'd rather do something that makes me happy,
Yeah, and
right?
you have every right to watch it, Noel. And I like you have to be honest to yourself,
That's it.
and but I think when we look at the other side over the past 5 years, saying how awful and toxic our side was, when our side at least is at least in a some way divided, but we're not going after each other. There are a few people that are trying to do that, but for the most part, we're like it's like adults and normal reasonable people agree to disagree.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, you're still talking to me. We haven't fallen out. Gary still talks to me. We haven't fell
Yeah,
out. We have differences of opinion on Doctor Who at the moment. As you said, you've never ruled out the possibility that you might like the show again. But right now, you're just not feeling it, and I can understand it because of the last 5 years, and I can understand other people having the opinions and not willing to give it a go. Because remember, fans have been shit on for the last few years, and you just keep getting shit on. So there are a lot of people out there that have just lost hope that Doctor Who can be redeemed. Right now,
well, it did happen
now
with
it's up to RTD though. This is the thing. RTD's job now is to actually win people like that over, and if he can do it, then Doctor Who is in a healthy place again. But he's got to pull a rabbit out of the hat here again. He's got to hit the ground running like he did in 2005,
well,
and
the
he's
one
got
thing
to.
that he has to do is to even have a lot of people consider coming back. You can't have any. politics, no current year politics in the show. I think it comes down to that. But there is hope. I'm like, there is, Star Trek is in many ways no much better, but we did finally get a new Star Trek series, one that's actually good in Strange New Worlds, which, uh, everything else that's come
I
out
was
is complete
surprised by
garbage.
that show. I'm gonna be honest. I went in because obviously I'd stopped watching Picard. Myself and Lee tortured ourselves to try to watch alongs of Lower Decks for everybody in streams.
Oh,
We could we gave up on that because we just couldn't tolerate it anymore. And then I came across, like you said, Strange New Worlds, and I watched the first episode, and by the end of it, I was like, oh my god, have they actually got the formula right here? So I watched the second episode, and I go, oh my god, I think they got the formula right here. So by the third episode, I was hooked. I was
yeah,
actually
and
hooked.
I'm
It
just
takes.
hoping, I'm hoping they continue it with season two. But no, I actually, because of another stream I was on, I was going to talk about Picard. And if I was going to do it legitimately, I had to end up suffering through the whole of season two. Um, you know what their big spoiler was?
Go on.
Okay, so if you actually care, anybody just block your ears. The big spoiler was Wesley Crusher makes an appearance.
Oh wow, great.
Yeah,
Wow,
that
wow,
was the big surprise in the season
great.
finale. And
Right.
an
What did
annoying
he do?
girl is the Borg Queen.
Oh yeah, yeah. They got someone else, yeah, to play the Borg Queen. I heard about that. Yeah,
So
and
that
apparently now for the last season they've brought back all the next gen crew. Basically, I
I
heard.
am dreading that, and that will
Yeah.
not be like Strange New Worlds because several of, as much as I used to love the Next Generation, although it's one of the errors that I still love Deep Space Nine, but the Next Generation, several people involved in that show,
I
the
know. I've
main
seen them
actors
on
are
Twitter.
completely
Yeah,
toxic. So you
yeah.
know exactly what you're going to get. I will probably be skipping it.
Noel, I've ordered the new issue straight from the publisher's online shop through DPD delivery. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that because I ordered it off the Who shop and I wanted to support the Who shop. Because as you know, I have been pretty excited for the new era Doctor Who. So I decided that, because RTD has he's been given snippets to fans and he's been actually all right with fans since he's come back. I decided that I would get the first issue of Doctor Who magazine under his reign, so the first time in years basically. And it still hasn't come yet. I ordered it off the Who shop, couldn't get it in Dublin because it sold out. It actually was, uh, Chris. It actually sold out. It was the first Doctor Who magazine to literally fly off the shelves. They
Well, one
even
thing that
had they had distribution problems, but when they got that sorted, it sold out everywhere. Sold out in Dublin, it sold out in Scotland, sold out in England, and I'm assuming if they sell it in Wales, which they would, it sold out in Wales, but it actually sold out everywhere. The first issue under RTD because he's using the magazine now for the exclusives, unlike what the other showrunner did when he excluded the magazine and nearly crippled the magazine. RTD,
he he crippled everything. Although
yes,
for
he did.
Blu-rays, yeah, they're not going to match on the shelf because none of the Blu-ray sets coming forward, you can pretty much be guaranteed, are going to have that Chibs era logo on it, so they won't match up on your shelf. But yeah, one
No.
thing I have noted, and I haven't, I just
What do you think
literally
of the new logo?
I don't mind it. Well, the one thing I was going to say is no,
Hmm.
I don't follow everything. Literally, just the
I
stuff
know
that
you
I
don't.
see comes up on my Twitter feed. But I, I I get the impression RTD may have learned a lesson after that red carpet incident the day of the announcement that literally threw many people,
No, he
including
has. He has. I can vouch for that. And this is why I think a lot of people in the chat as well are going to give him a chance. He's got, after BBC were reprimanded for that, he's completely changed his tune and he's been delivering, I have to say. And I think credit where credit is due. If people can recognize that they've made a mistake and, as you said, change course and rectify it, I think they should be given the credit for that. But you are right, and I'm glad you've actually brought that up because it should be acknowledged that he did start off shaky, but he turned it around quite quick
Well,
enough. That
shaky is an understatement. It was a
yeah, well, in
disaster.
fairness,
It was like literally it was because I watched and I had a video which was almost done that I ended up I'd actually quit during that, which never ended up being published. But that my introduction to it was literally I got up, I get a notification on my phone. I'm like, new doctor chosen. I'm like, okay, we'll see where this is going. And then I went onto YouTube, so I see that actually, yeah, it was Gary streaming live. So I see what Gary has to say, and then at that point, he's playing that clip live. Oh, like why? It's just
so you haven't actually seen the teaser trailer that they threw out,
no, no. I
right?
decided not to watch it.
The Jody regenerating into David Tennant's, right? Just to let you know, because obviously you've been avoiding all the reaction.
Well, no,
But let
I saw the regeneration scene.
right.
It is kind of funny that they refused to regenerate David Tennant into that costume. I actually get a really good laugh at that because it would have looked absolutely ridiculous.
It would
And
have, and RTD got stick for that because he basically came out and kind of said that in a nicer way, obviously, and they came back at him and you were saying, well, her costume has always been gender neutral. Right, I'm going to tell you something now, right? I know blokes in this fandom have worn that costume and they wear it with pride, right? They obviously don't give a crap what people think of them, right? But there's no way in hell that I'm going to put on a costume that is a woman's costume. It's not gender neutral. It was never gender neutral, right? If our costume was gender neutral, trust me, it would have been a completely different costume altogether. Not that costume that she put on. That jacket is not gender neutral. That t-shirt's not gender neutral. You could
it's
say the suspenders are, but those trousers, no man in their right mind would wear
well,
trousers
the
that
whole
fucking short.
costume was a political statement, and I can see why they didn't do it because David Tennant would never live that down,
No.
even appearing in that. Now, I know in terms of
Well, he's
canon,
friends
yes,
with Jodie, so he would have explained the reasons to her behind it. Because if she did have a problem with it, they're friends, so I'm pretty sure he would have said to her, "Look, this is why I didn't regenerate into your costume." But those
he may have said that to her, but I think he realized like I don't think they're dumb. Like and they know what's happened to the show over the past 5 years, and they know that that costume is a major symbol of all this. Now, there is a major canon issue because clothes do not regenerate. But in this instance, I am willing to forget. I would be willing, specifically on that issue, I'd be willing to, because it has broken the tradition of every former doctor or every new doctor regenerates into the clothes of the old doctor. I'll ignore canon in this case. It makes perfect sense to
well,
me.
actually, it does make sense if you think about it logically, though, right? Because Matt Smith's doctor said so. Do you remember the episode where he goes to Clara's for Christmas and he's naked and he says, "Well, I used the perception filter on them," right? That's what David Tennant's doctor could have done there. Use the to perception filter a costume while he's regenerating. That would make sense there. There you go.
Well, it
Problem
would have been,
solved.
although it would have made a lot of people mad. It would have been a funny scene. Like, what the hell am I wearing?
Yeah, it would have actually would have been funny. But I have to say I love that scene when he came back when he did the what, what, what? And then and then we got the teaser trailer right after.
Well,
And I
I can give you another example as to why, and it's even well non Doctor Who related, kind of
go
as
on.
to why some people because we've just seen what they did to Captain Picard, and it's ruined the next
Well, I
generation.
can't believe he's an android now. And I don't get the whole thing. Season one, right? They tried to there was no relationship with Data
No, there
and Picard.
wasn't.
What they did was the
Although
last
apparently they're
movie
in
of
love.
the last movie of the next generation, Star Trek Nemesis. They hinted there was a sort of Picard wouldn't leave the Enterprise without Data, right? So they kind of use that whole scene to build this whole imaginary relationship up between the two of them. They
You would have
never
done
had
that
a
to anyone, even
relationship.
somebody you didn't know.
It would have made sense with Geordie. You know what I mean? Geordie and him had the friendship. They had the connection. But Picard never had a connection to Data whatsoever. So when the end game, when we saw the end game of that final episode, it made absolute no sense. And people were saying, "Well, it's good." And the fake Trek fans, "Oh, it's great because they the Picard were friends, and now he's
No,
become the
nobody.
android."
Yeah, but that's. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people will not watch this unless they hear from other people that it's good because uh, Star Trek. Because there are a lot of people that are fans of both Star Trek and Doctor Who, and literally, and for a lot of us, like going back 35 years. Star Trek: The Next Generation, it was, one of those sacred shows, and Picard just completely ruined it. Like it's not that Picard alone was bad; it ruined the entire Next Generation to the point where a
Yeah,
lot of people, including myself, can't even watch it anymore. So I can see why, one of the concerns is that, and I think it's a legitimate concern where they might end up doing a Captain Picard with the 10th, now 14th Doctor. But if it's I may check it. Like if it were airing tomorrow, no, I wouldn't watch it. But again, where I think it's next fall is when they're
yeah,
airing. So
right,
it's I may change at that point. Like I won't be if I do, I won't be approaching it as a fan, more a at best just a casual, curious audience member. But
yeah,
we'll have to see. I'm not saying it's completely out of the realm of possibility because things change. Because, like I said, I never thought I'd ever enjoy a new Star Trek show again. So it's
yeah.
not like it hasn't happened before.
Exactly, and it can happen again. We got Andrew Jones in the chat there, gone as WWE, WWE. Jodie did not ruin the show. She introduced new fans, and you've mentioned someone's kid, so I'm not going to mention the person, and loads of new kids to the show. Um, the person, the person that you talk about was watching Doctor Who before Jodie Whittaker. What are you talking about for starters, anyway? Second of all, Chris Chibnall ruined the show, but Jodie Whittaker was the lead actress, so she's going to get some of the stick because she didn't do the research and she didn't really care about the role. But again, thanks for wasting the super chat on a
No,
ridiculous.
you get money. To this individual who I won't. Dude, give up. And how many Twitter accounts do you have to have? Nobody
I
cares.
know.
But
Yeah,
that's
he
okay,
has.
Noel. You need to get something toxic with those 5 pounds. Make a
Yeah.
video about it. I got this. It has to be toxic just to make people mad.
Do another ranty video. I haven't done
Oh
one of those
yes,
in a
and
while.
also hashtag banned from Barry Island. There,
Yeah.
it's but
In fairness, look, your comment is ridiculous anyway because it went from 13 million viewers. People are saying 11. It's 13. The first episode got 12 points, whatever it was, nearly 13 in the consolidated,
yeah.
right? It went from 13 million to 2, right? So, yeah, lots of little kids watched Doctor Who and she introduced a lot of new fans to the show, 2 million of them. But the problem was the rest of us and the
Well,
rest
even
of the
out of those
fandom
2 million,
and the British public and American public and wherever else Doctor Who was shown, they all tuned out,
oh,
mate.
Chib's killed. Like, regardless of what happens, he's killed it in
Yeah.
North America. Like, it's never ever
I
coming
know it
back
went
in North
from it
America.
went from 850,000 people or something watching that show to something like by the end of its run 50,000. Just over
In
50,000, like it was
no,
very
in
bad.
Canada,
It nosedived.
the viewing figures were in the 4 digits. Like
Wow.
it's so it may come back in the UK. Over here, we're very fickle, and culturally, Canada isn't really much different from the US. It's never coming back here ever. It doesn't matter what they could do. They just killed it, and
I
it
don't
was
know because I don't know if you know this, but Disney Plus now are distributing the show. So
they also distributed She
while
Hulk.
Disney, listen, right, I get what you're saying. They have made some shit Disney Plus, right? But if Doctor Who is done properly, now we don't know which way it's going to go. But if Doctor Who is actually done properly, and this is the reason why they're actually trying to get other properties in now, because they've bolstered it up themselves now, right, with their content. So they need to bring in content to actually try and boost ratings. But Doctor Who being on Disney Plus is huge. I mean, it's now got access to 65 countries around the world now, more than it's ever had. So, obviously they don't tell us obviously the streaming numbers. This is the problem with streaming service. They're never actually honest about how many people actually watch their
Well,
show.
actually, well, no, it is because they do Nielsen ratings now for streaming services, at least in North America. Well, in the U.S., and the way Nielsen ratings work, it's very similar to what they previously did with cable, where it records. So it's external from the streaming service. It's a random sampling of various demographics, and they record what they're watching. They do it's a similar thing, although now it's not a box. It's an app. Um, but for Nielsen ratings, they can get a pretty accurate determination as to who's watching a show at any given time. So it's more accurate than it used to be. So the streaming services, because there's external analysis, they can't get away with it like they used to.
Right.
But
Well, then that's
I am mystified. Well, it is kind of funny how complicated the rights situation to this former BBC show is, because you have a BBC show run by Bad Wolf, which is owned by Sony, which will be distributed by Disney Plus. And I
yeah.
think in Canada, I think in Canada it's still being distributed by Crave, because CTV Canada, which is owned by Bell Media, which owns Crave, owns the rights on Sci-Fi Canada. It's a you could write a book on the rights issues alone now.
Oh man, and there's money coming in from everywhere. I mean, look, I don't want to get bogged down on Doctor Who because, like, obviously, it's something that you don't really talk
It's
about.
okay.
But I'm glad.
I caused it, Noel. It's only been half an hour, but I commented on it. But yeah, I'll give my 8K rant as soon as we're done. Well, not rant,
But
but explanation.
yeah. But look, for people out there, as he said, there's a lot of people out there hurt, and I understand that. And as I said, certain YouTubers are gonna have their stance on it, and they have every right to have that stance. My hope is just this, right? And this is all I've ever wanted. I am an optimist, right? I think Gary actually even retweeted one of my tweets, and I think he was commenting how he loved me optimism, right? Um, I am optimistic, right? But my sincere hope is that people like those channels that you mentioned, and Chris here, and everybody else that has, you know, been hurt by the previous regime, and what we know what that fandom is like as well. They've caused an awful lot of heartache and bullied people and hounded people offline, right? But I hope that RTD can deliver and bring us all back together again, because before the Chibnall era, we were all yes, Doctor Who wasn't doing great under Moffat, especially near the end, but still we got some enjoyment out of it. We haven't enjoyed the last 5 years. I just want RTD to be able to do what he did in 2005, win people over, because remember, you had to win long-term fans over back then in 2005 because they weren't sure about Doctor Who coming back. Even though we all wanted Doctor Who to come back, there was still part of us that were like, well, he could screw this up and then it's done. It'll never come back. But he didn't screw it up. So I hope he can do the same trick over again and win people back over, because there'd be nothing better than having us all back praising this show. I've hated the last 5 years. Chris says that near the end when he gave up on his channel, he didn't like what he was doing. I've hated the last 5 years. I've had, don't get me wrong, we've had some good streams here. We've had some laughs. We've all
Well, we've had
banded
hundreds of
together.
awesome streams.
Yeah, we've had great streams, but I'm talking about the reviewing side of it and having to come on and bash a show that I've grew up with, a show that I credit for keeping me here today talking to you guys. I've hated the last 5 years, but I had to be honest. And we were honest. Chris was honest. Other YouTubers out there were spot on. We predicted everything that would happen. Obviously, it was a lot worse than what we thought. Some of us
Yep.
actually, some of us actually couldn't imagine that it went that far. I'm being honest. I was blindsided by that, like a lot of other people. We knew it was bad, but we
We never
didn't know.
expected a
We
timeless
never
children.
expected. Yeah, we never expected that he would go that far, and he did, and he did shatter the fandom. And our fans, the fans of that era, did not help because they attacked and bullied everybody, and that added to everybody's misery. So yeah, I have not enjoyed the last 5 years criticizing this show because of all that came with it. But I had to stay true to myself and I had to be honest with you. And in the end, we were all look at the end of the day, we haven't actually said this that much, but we're all vindicated in the end. We're all right. We said this.
I was tempted. And had I not quit, I would have done this. I was going to go back to my videos from 2017, all of them, and do a current year commentary.
I
Like,
would like, oh, you.
well, no, I wouldn't
I
do it
know you
now.
won't, but do you know what?
But no, that was actually no. I was going to have the goat do them. Come to
I
think of it,
think,
because
oh,
I was no, I had a series of videos. There were, I think, 6 videos I was going to do a modern commentary on. Well, some with me, some with the goat, saying, and you could see that I said it. They're time stamped on YouTube from 2017 before this even began.
I know.
How not that I mean to say I'm the Doctor Who Nostradamus, but everything, literally everything I predicted came true.
Yep. No, you're right.
Well, not all of you,
Absolutely.
but many of you called me names and you said terrible things.
Yeah.
But I'm like, literally everything
No,
I
no, no,
said
no,
came
no.
true.
No, you're absolutely right, man. I remember watching those videos, and I even remember later on you shared them before you left and all. You shared. Do you know what, man? I know you don't want to do it, but if you ever do get the time, that's exactly the first video you should do as a comeback, right? And or do a commentary on your old videos, and just fucking do it, man. You are
Well, no,
right.
if when I do come back, yeah, the one thing I won't do is cover Doctor Who. I want to, in terms of YouTube, just distance myself completely from that. And yeah, I'd suffered through woke Batman before going back into that. Although I do miss, I actually I do miss the woke Batman videos, because that show
Oh
was
no, here, come here. I'm gonna say they were some of your some of your funniest videos,
those
and
ones
I
that, well, actually,
and I
what
loved
was,
your unscripted videos as well, Chris. Chris, your unscripted
you
videos
mean
are brilliant.
my brief oh yeah, Ghetto Vision. I forgot
Yeah,
about Ghetto
Ghetto
Vision.
Vision was brilliant, man. No, seriously, man, you've done some good. Look, I just want to say on behalf of everybody, you have entertained a lot of people over the years, right? And obviously, your channel before you kind of got into all that, you used to do your reviews and all, and people love them as well. Look, you've done your bit on YouTube. If you decide that it's not for you anymore, I
No, no,
think
it's
everybody,
like I said, I'm not gonna. It's more an extended break, but I've people think that, because not many people realize I was doing videos for 10 years before 2017,
yeah,
and my channel has changed completely a few times. I've never changed the name before, but Bullstrek used to be it was literally just a username I'd used since 95. Then suddenly it kind of became a person. But no, like when I started covering the culture war in 2017, like that was a complete change. I only had about 1,000 subs because I'd averaged about 1,000 subs for a decade. And that was jarring to people that have been following me, and only a handful of them actually stuck around. So it's, this is the same thing where it's, I'm just going back to covering something else.
Well, you haven't lost. I've looked at your channel. You haven't lost any subs by the looks of things.
Oh no, I'm
People have
still
still
losing
stuck
subs
around.
because I've got a YouTube imposed an algorithm on my channel 3 years ago, which is still active, and I can see it's still active. But no, it's not, I haven't. I still get a few hundred views a day, and oddly enough, last month, a video which took off, and this is about as random gets. It was a video I did of my Doc Martin DVD collection, published in 2013. For some reason, was getting insane views last month. I don't know. I think it's the algorithm. Just if you disappear for a while, they augment certain videos. Like the one video that always gets augmented is one I did on the Orville, which I don't even watch anymore. But that one does fairly well. But yeah, and I'm probably going to have to skedaddle soon, Noel. But would you like to hear my 8K rant story explanation?
Yeah, we'll finish with that. We'll finish with that story tonight and wrap it up because we're nearly 2 hours in. Well, one
Yeah.
hour and 45. So we'll let Chris do his story, and then I have all. Oh, by the way, if you just want to follow him, I've put all these social medias and his
And
YouTube channel in the link
I may
description.
just and for Bulls Trek, I may just, even though I'm not posting to it, I may just rebrand it as Cultivated Media, formerly Bulls Trek, and put my stick figure up there
I
because
think you
it
should.
hasn't had a logo since I retired the blue logo.
Yeah, I
But
think
anyway,
I
so yeah, so this
I
is
think you should, because if people see a change in it as well, they will know as well at some stage you are going to come back. And I think you should. I think that's a good idea, mate. But go on, tell your story because, Cinnamon has said he's watched some of your videos from 2017 as well. So there you go.
oh,
People are
thanks,
still watching your
man.
videos, man.
Yeah, their nostalgia. Yeah, I can't believe that was 5 years ago, but that's what happens when you get old. But anyway, so yeah, so this is Jack's comment from an hour ago.
Right, go on.
Um, So stating that he's not looking forward to buying things again when they come out into 8K. So this is why you're never going to see an 8K Blu-ray. So a little bit of a history lesson. So we've had, in terms of home video, we've had three massive advances over 20 years.
Yeah.
So for standard def, DVD was a massive leap over VHS, which was not 480 resolution. It was closer to barely 200. Then Blu-ray, people complained. I'm like, it's a scam. There's no difference. Well, no, the problem with Blu-ray is people were buying Blu-ray players and
Yeah.
hooking them up to regular tube TVs, and the Blu-ray player will actually downscale.
Yeah.
So if you had at that point, most of them were 720, 1080 was just it was sort of the really expensive TVs at the time. But if you compared a DVD on a actual high def TV, you notice a massive difference between Blu-ray and DVD, whereas the larger the TV, the more ass DVD would look like. And it was the same thing with 4K. When 4K came out, people were like, it's going to be a scam. And even I was thinking, because both my TVs are 55 inches. I'm like, in terms of resolution, I'm like, I'm not going to perceive the difference. Or if I do, it's going to be minimal. No, in terms of resolution, there actually is, even at 55 inches, a perceptible difference between the two of them. And HDR, which handles the color and the contrast,
Mm-hmm.
is a world of difference between the two of them. Although I'm sorry, Screen Factory, I'm still not paying you $50 plus tax for special editions. I already paid you $50 plus tax for 3 years ago. But 8K is where in the home theater experience, unless you are projecting on the side of the building, it makes no difference. For even up to the larger is for most manufacturers, 82 inches is about the largest they make. Even at 82 inches, you're not going to make a difference. Like I have a 4K computer monitor. I can put my eyeball right up to this monitor and I cannot see the pixels. So 4K, in terms of what's perceptible by the human eye, is
Is going to be it.
yeah. And this is one of the reasons why I laugh at Samsung, because they sold their 8K TVs. Problem is, other than a handful of YouTube demo videos, nothing supports 8K, and you won't notice a difference anyway. In fact, many people have compared it to other TVs. from Sony or even Samsung's own standard 4K QLED TVs, and you can't notice a difference. Um, and also, the capacity of 4K discs has not been completely utilized because there's massive capacity on these discs. Even the players, they do need a new generation of players because none of them have been updated in 3 or 4 years. So there are some technical issues, especially when it comes to switching to the third layer. My LG freezes all the time. But in terms of 4K for home theater, it is the vinyl. You will never get better than that because your eye will never perceive the difference. And they're talking about in the future holographic TVs. 4K discs actually have the storage capacity to handle holographic images. It might be you'd need a different type of 4K player, but it's still going to be 4K.
Sorry, I have to put this up, and I don't want to start an argument,
I
but
thought I was gonna say that, but I thought he'd gone away.
I thought you'd gone away. Yeah, I thought you were gone.
No, I had a comeback already, but I thought he was gone. No, so right now I'm looking. I can see my living room. I've got my very nice 55-inch Sony TV, and when I save up enough money, I'm going to get me a 65-inch Sony OLED TV. But why can't I buy Panasonic? Oh yeah, that's right, because they dropped out of the North American market in 2014 because they sucked. Because while everybody else was going with LED. No. Panasonic and all their stupidity in North America decided, oh no, we're going to stick with fucking. Not that I mean.
No, you can course. You're all right.
Okay.
You can drop a few F bombs. You're all
we're
right.
going to stick with fucking plasma. So fucking plasma was an energy hog. It set houses on fire. You didn't need an oven because you could fry your eggs on your freaking TV. So everybody else went to LED, but no, we're going to stick with. And then their TVs started exploding, and then they're like, "Oh, we can't do this." So it was too hard for them, so they
Well, I'm
pulled out
going
of
to
the
throw a
North American
spanner in the
market.
works. I'm a fan of Philips TVs. So there you go.
Philips has never been actually for years because it's Philips Magnavox. For years, we didn't actually have Philips in North America. It's only recently that they came back. They were sold under Magnavox, but in the UK, I know they're more of a standard range. They're actually a budget brand, and they're kind of garbage in North America. But yeah, there's a big difference between Philips UK and Philips North America. And I've had my 65-inch 4K OLED for years, and it's glorious. Well, I don't know because they're pussies and they decided not to sell in North America.
Philips isn't even Philips anymore. You're a real. I tell you, you really like to put people on a bit of a downer. Leave Philips alone as well, man. Yeah, you and your Panasonic.
There's
Do
just
you
one
know
thing
where
I
you can
just
shove
want
your
to.
Panasonic? You can shove your Panasonic TV under your bed because it's not even worth watching.
Okay, so I still have this in here from a long time ago. So just for Lee, I'm going to do that. I didn't even know I still had that saved.
Starting a TV war. Let's bring it on. Electronics.
Yeah. So when I save up enough money, which might be a little while because everything's expensive, but I'm going to get my 65-inch OLED Sony TV. My Sony TV right now is currently LED. It looks freaking. People will come into my house, and it's a 2017 model, and it was a mid-range Sony. It's the X800E for anybody who's interested. And people will see my TV and like, holy crap, I've never seen anything look so good. Well, that's because you buy freaking Samsung, not Panasonic, because you can't buy Panasonic anymore. You buy Panasonic and the explosion known as LG. But yeah,
it's all a
too
farce.
exclusive for US Canadian rabble. No, we Sony and this occasionally shady Samsung and blowing up LG sent them crying to their mommy.
Yeah. Well, are you finished? Do you want to finish off your rant? Sorry for cutting across.
I didn't
mean to
that was
cut
Lee.
across your mid rant, but Lee put that up there, and I said, you know what? Chris has every right to a response there to that now because that was just blatant. So he was supposed to be gone to bed or something. So he's just
It's
just
okay.
acting diabolics.
One of these days we'll
Put your TV under the bed
we'll
with you, mate, because it's not even worth watching. It's a pile of crap.
exactly. Well, no, it might burn his bed and set it on fire.
Oh yeah, we don't want that.
So basically the gist of the whole argument is there will never be 8K Blu-ray players because they'd never be profitable, and you'd never notice a difference. We have
Well, you
not seen
say
the
that, but with
capacity of 4K.
companies, but here's the thing, though. You're saying that, right? And fair enough. What you're saying makes logical sense. But from a business point of view, these companies wouldn't give a shit if there's no
They'll,
difference. Just
they'll
still
come
flog,
out with
try, flog it.
they'll come
It's-
out with 8K TVs and it'll be a scam. But the home theater market, and specifically with 4K, it's comparable to vinyl. It was never 4K was, and many people misleadingly think it was supposed to be another DVD or even early Blu-ray. No, it wasn't. It was designed to be a modern day equivalent of
yeah.
Laserdisc, something that um, is geared only towards niche video files like myself, or even audio files. But the people like me that collect these things, and most people that are videophiles, and most people that collect 4K, generally know what we're talking about, and we know that anything beyond 4K is going to be a scam. And the companies that make them, and yes, Panasonic does make a decent 4K Blu-ray player, so I will give you that. Lee. But no, there will be no market for it. It's that for 4K, it's now performing above what it was designed to. In terms of the market it's geared at, it's blown away all original expectations. They say physical media is shrinking. Well, no, DVD is shrinking. Blu-ray has grown slightly, and 4K within its base is absolutely exploding. But video files, we know that they're for home video. There's going to be nothing better than 4K because the capacities of 4K hasn't even been reached yet. But we do need a new generation of players because the ones that we have been around mostly since 2018. So yes.
Anyway,
Oh,
that's
and I will have to answer that in a minute. I'm just gonna mute that.
right. Well, if you want to do your social medias and live, mate, if you need to go,
Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna have to head off. But we did 2 hours. Well,
we
2 minutes
did.
shy of 2 hours. But yes, I am Cultivated Media Incorporated, formerly Bullstrek. I'm still at Bullstrek on YouTube because I've learned I can never change that URL no matter how much I may try. And I'm at horror_fan1978. And please stop sending me requests to my old locked at Bullstrek account because it's locked and it's not coming back. And I just got a message. So yeah, it's my dad. I have to call him back.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Gonna do this again, my friend, but next
and we
time
will.
bring Lee, and we're gonna do an hour-long debate on Panasonic, crappy Panasonic versus
Yeah, and
awesome
I'll be the
Sony.
referee. I won't get a word in edgeways, and I'll just let
Yeah,
you two rip each other to sunder, and then you'll win, and then that'll be the end of that.
awesome. But yeah, I gotta go.
No problem.
Oh,
Panasonic
8K is
sucks.
huge in Korea. Okay, we're gonna have a discussion about that, Lee. We'll have a discussion. We're gonna have a
Yeah.
debate next week, next Friday. I don't know. We'll ask Noel if he wants to do it.
Right, yeah, if you want to come on next Friday, because I have said I'll be bringing on guests each week, but if you and Lee want to come on, that'll be obviously fantastic. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Okay, I will be back, but yeah, I gotta go call my dad
Right,
back, so
go
I'm
ahead.
signing out. So yeah, we're gonna have a discussion about that Korea thing.
Grant. So we'll be here next Friday with both Lee and Cultivated Media Incorporated. So come and join us. It'll be 9 o'clock again. Come and join us for that. That's going to be very interesting, that one, because these two can get very heated over their
Oh, it's fun
electronics.
times, but yeah, and I need to sign off. So sayonara's, y'alls.
I'll see you later, pal. Right, and that's it for the night. As I said, yes. So for future weeks, obviously I'll be bringing Lee on next week with Chris, so they can have that little conversation. But if you'd like to come on and be a guest, obviously we won't be focused on Doctor Who. We did talk a little bit about Doctor Who because we haven't had Chris on in ages or had an opinion on Doctor Who from him in a long time. So it was nice. It was nice to actually get that. But we talked about her and we talked about other stuff. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be covering, obviously, stuff that's been going on during the week, and obviously then some guests will have stuff to talk about as well, like Chris did there. So yeah, if you're interested, give me a shout, and we'll try fit you in somewhere. Don't forget as well, this weekend we have Noel Clark, and Lee is in the chat as well. We will have Lee joining us again for Brotherhood, the final movie of the Hood trilogy. He'll be joining us, Noel Clark, myself, and Lee for that one. So tune in, because it's going to be very good, because the last one was absolutely fantastic. We've had over 700 views on that stream alone. So pretty chuffed about that. And I did send Noel Clark a screenshot of it, and he was pretty impressed. So yeah, tune in again this weekend. Myself and Lee will be on stream with Noel Clark. So that'll be we're looking forward to that one, because the last one was very fascinating. And if you haven't watched it, it's up on the channel there. Go and check it out. It is worth checking out, I have to say. Very fascinating guy, and just to kind of listen to him speak and to see what his thought processes were was very interesting. And he's kept in touch with me since. So I just want to make that clear, because a lot of people would think he came on and then there's no conversation or anything, and then it's like, well, he's on the net. No, he's been keeping in touch. We've been both keeping in touch with each other. And I have to say, he's been absolutely fantastic, man. He seems, I'm telling you, he's a good bloke. He's a good egg, man. All my interactions with him have been fantastic. And so yeah, any update on Sophia? As far as I know, I'll check now. As far as I know, she briefly reinstated her account. But then I think someone said she was gone again. But no, her account is up still, but hold on. Just want to double check. Actually, no, the account is not up. The account is not up. She's left again. It looked like it was up, but now it's not coming up now that it's not. Yeah, so she's off. She's off Twitter. And as we said, it turns out that the story that was told by the person that threw it up on Twitter and then tagged their friend and then has the cheek to turn around and say, well, she didn't know it would blow up. But anyway, it turns out that one aspect of the story anyway, she definitely lied about, was the part where she said that Sophia had gotten security. Apparently no such thing had happened. And that, as I said, Gobby had her on his stream, and he keeps in contact with her as well. Again, such a lovely woman, do you know what I mean? Interacts with fans and keeps in contact with them, So we got her side of the story. As I said when I did my first video, because I got criticized by people that were supporting this woman. And as I said, there's two sides to a story, okay? There's the side of the person that obviously decided to make it public, and then there was Sophia's side of the story. There's always two sides to a story, and until we know all the facts, you can't be making any judgments like a lot of you did. Now, I'll put up a video, obviously, of screenshots of some of the stuff that was said about Sophia on Twitter. Now, I've covered the names, even though it is on a public platform, but they're a bit sticky on Twitter about it, so I had to censor the names. But if you go in, they made comments about her previous relationship with David Tennant and made some rather disgusting comments. They reveled in the fact that, she was dumped by David and in the manner how she was dumped, calling her an awful human being and, saying that she's a supporter of, people like Noel Clark and Johnny Depp, and she deserves all the hate that she's getting and stuff like that. So I posted a video. So if you haven't seen the stuff that's being actually said about her, go and check the video out, because I also give my opinion in that video now. It's a text video with a bit of music, right? But obviously turn down the music if you don't like the music that I put in the videos. I just do that for people that do actually like the music that I do on videos, because there is actually quite a few people on the channel that do actually like me music videos. So I do add a bit of music to them anyway. But you can turn it down, but you will see the kind of stuff, and I give my opinion. And as I said, if this person lied about one part of the story, then what else are they lying about? You know what I mean? And you can't, and I'm being honest, you can't trust anybody if they've lied about one aspect of it. They wouldn't need to lie. And these so-called witnesses, here's the thing. I said it in my video as well. It is very easy to find out if this did happen or not, right? Because in the past, organizers have just been an incident at a Comic-Con. Organizers have come out and addressed the situation. Nothing has happened in this case, right? And as I said, Gabby talked to Sophia, and the whole thing about security is untrue. So if the person was willing to or lied about that, then what else did they lie about? And the whole thing about eBay, yes, Sophia admitted that she did say you could sell that on eBay. But like a lot of actors and actresses that go to these cons, it was said out of a joke, not out of any malice, but it was picked up the wrong way. Basically, there's a lot of red flags in this situation. The person then that made the allegation tagged their friend, so it blow up, ended up taking down that tweet and then put an explanation up to say, well, I didn't think it was going to blow up and blah, 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 and then drop the fact that they sell these masks. Now, you could take whatever you want from that, but I know what I take from that. And now we've got someone who's devastated in Sophia because she was hounded off Twitter and she doesn't feel safe on the platform anymore. These people are the usual suspects, by the way. As you know, since David Tennant returned, they haven't been happy. I'm telling you now, the way I look at this was Sophia already had a target on her back, like myself and Lee and Gobby Guy and people that have come out and publicly supported Noel Clark. All someone had to do was create a bit of drama around her and people would believe her, especially from that side of the fandom. And that's exactly what I believe happened. This feels like a setup of rotten to the core. I'm just going to be out straight with you. And the behavior of those fans still at it is disgusting. So Gobby made a fantastic video, as Cinnamon said, and he called for YouTubers out there to band together, for us to band together to call this stuff out. Now, I didn't want any part of this. I wanted a relatively easy, because I done me time. I done 5 years of this. But he's right. We've got to stand up to this cancel culture, or as Gobby called it, this my truth nonsense. And it needs to be called out. So, that's exactly what's going to happen from now on. As you've already seen, Gobby obviously, you know, it all started off with that awful video from a certain YouTuber that said disgusting things about Millie Gibson. I followed it up with a video after Gobby Guy had done a video. So Gobby had already started calling all of this stuff out. And that's exactly, I'm going to actually support them in that. And I'm actually going to be doing videos as well. I'm sorry, but these people are not going away. They're going to hang around and they're going to keep destroying people's lives because that's what they're doing, right? That's what they're doing. They're destroying people's lives, right? They destroyed Garrett Roberts' career. They destroyed John Barrowman's career, right? Now, John Barrowman is trying to get back up on the ladder there and he's doing stuff, but they destroyed his career. They destroyed James Dreyfus's career. Whether you agree with the opinions he has or not, they destroyed him as well, right? They destroyed Noel Clark, right? And now they've destroyed Sophia. How many more of the people that we grew up watching and the people that we've gotten to know, how many more have to keep suffering at the hands of these people? Look, I've been calling for people to band together for years anyway on this channel. I'm blue in the face, right? There's nothing we small YouTubers can do unless we all band together anyway, right? But the bigger YouTubers could do something about this, but they're preoccupied with other stuff, right? But if they spoke up, this would be easier. But they're not going to. So us small YouTubers will have to take up that mantle and start calling this behavior out. And hoping that, you know, platforms out there, you know, do something about these people and, you know, there's consequences to the stuff that they do, right? We've seen it with people we've even gotten to know on the internet here, right? On this channel, on Twitter. We've seen many people, especially women in this fandom, right? How many women in this fandom have been harassed and bullied by these people and have been frightened offline? We know a lot. We know a lot. So, you know, I said it to people. I predicted all this. I told you it was going to get worse with these kids, with these fans. It wasn't getting any better. Some of them would leave, but some of them would hang around because they're not happy now. They see they're throwing their toys out of their pram because they realize that everything has gone to crap, that it was crap, right? But instead of taking their anger out on the people that they should take their anger out in, i.e., Chris Chibnall, Pierce Wenger, and all of those responsible for the previous era, they're going to take it out on people like us and people that are vulnerable and people that are easy targets because they might have a certain political opinion or a certain or might defend certain people from being cancelled. So they automatically have a target on their back anyway. And all it takes is to generate some drama around that person. A hate mob goes after them. And then you get what happened to Sophia. But we've seen it over the last 5 years. But it seems to be getting worse these last couple of months. Ever since RTD was announced he was coming back, it started getting worse. I predicted it. I did the video. Remember, we did the stream that day, and I predicted to you what was going to happen. And that's exactly what's happened. It's exactly what's happened. So enough is enough. If other big YouTubers out there are not willing to do it, right? And there are some that call out certain things but won't call out other things, you know, like Mr. You Know Who. You know, but if they called out everything, we could clean this fandom up. But they won't because they have their own personal agendas, just like everybody else does. It's ridiculous. But we do need to come together, right? They've got the disgusting mob sheep mentality of cinnamon toast crunch there. We need to come together, not as a mob, but come together as fans that say enough is enough of this cancel culture. Enough is enough of bullying people offline because you don't agree with their opinions. Sophia is afraid to come back onto Twitter. I'll say that again. Sophia is afraid to come back onto Twitter. That's what they've done to her. A social media app, right, where you're supposed to feel safe anyway. But she doesn't feel safe. And we talk about safe spaces and all this other rubbish in society. Where's the safe space for Sophia and people like her that have whatever opinions and stuff like that? It's ridiculous. But look, as I said, we will do all the other stuff that we do, but we will be calling this nonsense out because at the end of the day, it's gone too far now. How many more people need to suffer? And I didn't want to get bogged down in all of this again because it nearly took it out of me the last time. And there's a few times where it cracked, as you know. But I feel in a lot stronger position now. I've learned a lot over the past couple of years, so I can handle myself a lot better now. But this stuff has to be called out. And it doesn't matter for what side of the fandom, because I've already shown that I don't care what side of the fandom is, I will call it out. Right? You do not hound people offline. You do not bully people. People accuse me of that. It's not true. You have followed me. You know I don't bully people. Right? But there are actual people out there that do bully people. And someone has to stand up to it. Gobby can't do it on his own. You know? So we all have to band together. Obviously, some of you won't want to get involved and stuff like that. That's fair enough. But the ones that have the will to stick it to this mob mentality for once and for all, because something has to be done. Because if we don't do something, it's as I said. I mean, this gets worse even still, folks. So be under no illusion. As I said, the fandom survives in YouTube channels and their little communities that they've built up, just like this one here, the one Type 40, Gobby Guy, uh, Jack's channel, uh, Daniel's channel, all those other channels out there. That's where the fandom survives. But we have to put an end to this once and for all. That behavior cannot be tolerated anymore. We cannot have another 5 years of this absolute nonsense from these people. And all you can't bully people, it's not in you. Besides, Cheryl would have the frying pan at you if you started to bully anyone. Exactly, man. Exactly. Throw the frying pan. Yeah, man. Yeah, do you remember that? Yeah, we were actually going to put that on a t-shirt with a frying pan. If I could find a picture of a frying pan that I can use. Because you all love stuff like that. We're like gangs at this point. Yeah, that's it. That's it. But look, we cannot tolerate this anymore, folks. And I'm not saying everybody should jump on board and do what I say. As I said, a lot of yous will just do yous our own thing, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, if we want to eradicate this from the fandom, we've got to start standing up to these people because they're not going to stop. I mean, we have grown men, women out there, and kids attacking a woman because someone made an allegation on Twitter and then removes that allegation because they got exactly what they wanted, the drama towards Sophia, and now she's offline. And we've seen it happen to a couple of people that we've even had on this channel, right? So it's hit close to home as well. Remember that. You know, Cheryl hardly comes on anymore, as you know. You know, she was willing to come on and do streams and all. And then all that drama started. And then, you know, she told me out straight, I don't want to be on, I'm not going to be on your channel. And she hasn't been, as you're saying. We've managed to get her on a couple of times to do some stuff, but she hasn't been on as much as she would have wanted to be on, but because of the drama. If they're not grown ups, they might legally be adults, but their very actions they show they have not grown up yet, regardless of how old they are. That's the sad thing about them, man. You know, it's sad though. It's sad because I look at people like that and I look at them and I see failure. I see failure as a society, failure as an educational system, just failure on so many levels. Failure with the adults around them who are supposed to be guiding them. Thanks be to God, man. I'm not kidding. Thanks be to God, I was guided the right way in my life, and I had teachers that cared about me, and an educational system that actually educated me, and adults around me that wanted to protect me, but also, you know, were not afraid to discipline us when we stepped out of line, taught us right from wrong. You know, we weren't self entitled little assholes. We cherished everything that we got. You know, even the smallest present at Christmas time was a big bleeding deal. We weren't disappointed. We were always happy. We never took anything for granted. That's our generation. You know, our generation wasn't perfect either. But I tell you something, we weren't as stupid as this generation. And I don't mean all of this generation. You know, again, it's a small minority of that generation. It's just that small minority has all the media coverage and has jobs where they can sprout that nonsense. But we know that there's a lot in this generation that actually have their heads on their shoulders. But a lot of them have been failed. But look, you know, no matter how bad society is and how things are around the world, we've got each other. We've that's the main thing that keeps us all going. Is when you meet like-minded people and you can talk to them from all around the world and have conversations with them. You know, you could tell that yes, society is crap right now, but there's some brilliant people out there, you know, and we're not all fucking doomed. But look, this generation's in for a shock because the global economy, it's not just you know, the global economy is slowing down right now. There's going to be recessions in some countries, there's going to be depressions in other countries. It's going to be absolutely a shitstorm, and these self entitled little twats, for the first time in their lives, are going to be told no. And wait, you see the shitstorm. Wait, you see the shitstorm. This generation can still do great things. It's not too late. It actually isn't. All they need is the right adults around them that are teaching them the right things. So, you know, we always managed through it anyway. We all grew up through the 80s. There was hardship then, there was recessions then, but people were a lot kinder to each other. So it's cold society we live in now, quite literally. But people like yourselves that I've met through this channel and people that I've met online through Twitter, Instagram, and wherever it is, I've met some wonderful people. So it's not all a lost cause, as I said. There are some wonderful people out there, and there's a lot of people out there with their heads screwed on too. And long may it continue, and long may it continue that people stand up for what is right and fight these lunatics, you know? So that's where I am on all of that. I'll be a little bit more vocal on stuff anyway, because I do have a lot of opinions on certain stuff that's going on around the world and stuff. I just not kind of keep them to myself. I just don't bother really telling people because, you can be attacked for that and you're right up nowadays. But I'm a bit more, you'll notice even on Twitter now, I'm a bit more open. I don't really give a crap now. Um, because I can, as I said, I can just let the people that follow me reply because they're the people that I'm actually writing the tweets for. I'm not writing the tweets for anybody fucking else. So I don't, some people have, especially me haters, have got their nose out of joint over that. Oh, we can't comment on your tweets anymore. Why are you censoring them? Well, because A, I don't follow you. B, you don't follow me, but you want to spy on my account and you just want to go into me chat to upset everybody. So I'd rather just let people that actually follow me and I follow actually respond to me tweets because that's who they're for anyway, you know? So, tough shit. Crying over the fact that they can't bully me, like, that's the funny thing. They're actually crying at the fact that they can't bully me anymore. And even if they do bully me, it doesn't bother me anymore. These people actually think that they have an impact on me now. They don't. Had 5 years of it. Trust me. I was told I'd become immune to this stuff. Took me little bit longer than most people, but I did. I got immune to it. Nothing. Look, at some people have come at me in the private chat as well to try have a go at me at some of the stuff that I said on Twitter, and I'm like, well, if you don't like it, there's a mute and a block button. Use it. Simple as that. I don't have to justify myself to anybody anymore. Just to you guys, because you guys watch. But I don't have to justify myself to the rest of them out there. Anyway, as I said, we'll be here over the weekend, so come and join me for that. I'm going to finally leave now. It is a thing on this channel saying I'm going to leave and then I go for an extra fucking half hour. But we'll leave it there anyway. I hope you do like this. This will be every Friday night now. Friday night contact, it's called, right? Well, it's contact, but we call it Friday because it's on Friday night. So Friday night contact. And as I said, we will have Lee and Cultivated Media Incorporated on next week. But if you want to be a guest thereafter on a Friday night, it's from 9 o'clock. We'll go for about 2 hours. Let me know if you'd like to be a guest. If you have a channel, you want to come on and talk about what you do on your channel and stuff like that. You want to talk about movies, music, whatever it is you want to talk about, you're more than welcome to come on and join us for that. Why do you think I haven't mentioned World Cup football? Because you need to have a good rest, mate. I've been watching the football as well. That's what I mean. I've been watching the football and then, you know, in the break between the two matches, if I have time to do one of the Christmas specials, I will do one of the Christmas specials in between that. So yeah, I'm well rested anyway, and I will get a bit of a rest over the Christmas period. Obviously, Christmas night we'll do a Christmas special here, as I said, and New Year's Eve we'll have our New Year's Eve stream as we always do. But I will take a rest in between that, so don't worry, I won't overdo it. Because next year is going to be busy, busy, busy. As soon as it hits New Year's Day, man, the Doctor Who news should come flooding because he's going to have to give us something to keep us going for the next few months. So we get to those anniversary specials. So we'll do that anyway. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm actually going to go and have a rest now. And make myself a nice cup of tea or something, and maybe a sandwich or something. We'll see. So that's what I'm going to do. So listen, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. We'll be here every Friday night now. We're back streaming on Friday nights. Because Friday nights was very popular with a lot of people. So we'll get a bit of momentum going with this now. And obviously if I keep doing them every Friday, then we'll get the audience again. But we'll keep it going because I do like doing Friday nights. So I actually miss doing Friday nights because, Friday nights was one of our more popular nights. Have a great night now. You too, Chris, and thank you for that. Also, as I said, just real quickly, just want to remind everybody, Alpha Omega, who was a big part of this channel, his anniversary will be the 4th of January, and we'll have a little video up on the 4th of January. So look out for that as well. And we will obviously come on and do a stream and reminisce. It's obviously, it's been a year now. So it's yeah, it has as I said in the last, it hasn't been the same. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but we do what we do. He'd want us to keep doing what we do. Um, I can imagine what he thinks about what all the stuff that's going on with Doctor Who now. It would be lovely if he was here to see everything that's going on and what his opinions would be on it. Um, but yeah, a year, January 4th. So come and join us for that anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to remind people because I didn't forget. I wasn't gonna forget that. You know, um, it's just sad, man. Anyway, the traitors is great now. Maddie, don't, yeah. Yeah, she is. If you have watched it to the end, though, don't tell us because we don't know what's happened yet. Because we're literally watching it when it drops on BBC. Apparently, the whole lot is on BBC iPlayer or something. I don't know if that's actually true, but yeah, we're hooked as well. It's actually pretty good, the show. Um, do you have an Australian version or something? But I haven't watched that. But the UK version is absolutely brilliant. So if you haven't checked it out, it's called The Traitors. It's a TV show, reality TV show, um, and it's about a group of people, and they have to do. There's three traitors, and they've got to try and find the three traitors, but they all work together then to put money in the prize pot. You have to do all different missions, and then they sit around the table at the end of the night then and point the finger at each other. It's actually very funny. There's be loads of meltdowns and all on it. So if you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. Scott Stavros and friends wrestle with pop culture is watching it as well, and he's a fan. So check it out. So listen, folks, we'll leave it there. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I just want to thank our guest again, Cultivated Media, and we will see you over the weekend, folks. Have a good one. Enjoy and stay warm because the temperature has really dropped. We had a bit of snow last night here. So it's still white, it's frozen over, so it's going to be lots of slippies going on. That does be funny. I'm only messing. It's not funny when people slip. Yes, it is. But shh, say nothing. Talk to you all soon. Have a good one. Bye, folks.